Welcome back to Punch Drunk Nerd, the podcast where three friends, three amigos, three bambinos come together to talk about nerd shit. I'm Luis Gonzalez, and with me is...
Ed Bull.
And
I'm Stephen Escobar.
Oh, look at that. We've replaced Miguel Sanchez. He's no longer on the podcast.
God.
Goodbye. He's
out.
fired. And now it's Stephen Escobar. Welcome, Stephen. Welcome to as our third
You're welcome.
nerd.
I took the hat of Papadillo, I found it in the gutter, and I put it on my own head.
That's right. No, Miguel's just out right now. He's living life. He's a busy boy. He's making moves. So our friend Steven here is coming in, saving the podcast, saving us from our low views. Steven, welcome.
Well, thanks for having me. Always a pleasure to be here. I love being here. So it's always fun.
We were concerned because we really wanted you to be back in the podcast, but House of Dragon was going to come out for a long time, and we go like,
years.
When are we going to bring him back?
Yeah, luckily Ridley Scott said he heard about our problem and he made a movie just for us.
About it. I've got a fucking plan.
We're talking about Ridley Scott because, of course, Ridley Scott's Napoleon came out. That's going to be our feature discussion. We're going to review it. We're also going to rank Ridley Scott movies 10-1, of course, and then we're going to talk about what we're into. And but before all that, we're going to do a little bit itty bitty of news. Okay, listen, award season's coming up. Okay, we know Oscars are coming up. We know. All these awards. To kick it off is the Gotham Awards. Have you heard about this, Ed?
The Gotham Awards.
I've heard of the Gotham Awards. It's been quite the scandal this week.
Oh,
really?
Are you talking about
Robert De Niro's?
Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. Well, we'll talk about the scandal in a second. Let me tell everybody some of these winners.
Yeah, what are the Gotham Awards? Because I do not know. It's like Poison Ivy and Mr. Freeze and stuff. What is it?
The Gotham is the Independent Movie Awards.
Okay.
And honestly, it's kind of the first time I've been looking at them, but they were making news this year. And as I looked at all the awards and winners, it's actually pretty slim, the winners and nominations. We can run through them real quick. Best feature is Past Lives. Have you guys seen this movie, Past Lives?
I've never even heard of Past Lives. I still haven't,
but it's on the top of my radar. I didn't get to catch it in theaters, but
check it out. It's
what were the nominees?
Look it up.
I don't know the nominees. Look, I'm going to keep moving forward. Best international picture. best. We don't have time for that. We got Ridley Scott to talk about. I'm just trying. I'm doing a little bit of news here.
Indulge me.
Best international went to Anatomy of a Fall. There you go, Ed.
Yeah.
You loved Anatomy of a Fall.
I did. I really did. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They beat out Poor Things and Zone of Interest. So
I wonder, is Poor Things just international simply because it's Yorgos Lanthimos and
I think so.
I guess Greek reviews.
Okay, I know that.
That's my guess, but it's an English-spoken film. I think. Yeah. So anyway, carry on.
Well, Canadian could be international too.
Good point.
Australia, New Zealand.
Ed's face of disgust was like,
outstanding
if they
lead.
speak the Queen's language, it's all English.
It's all America.
You have your own awards over there. What are they called? What are your
BAFTAs.
awards over there? The BAFTAs.
The BAFTAs.
That's
right. The Brits get so excited to win a BAFTA. Someone's like, I won a BAFTA. I'm like, what? Who are you? They're so excited for BAFTAs. They talk. I know. I guess it sounds really mean. Yeah, I guess that's mean, but I'm just like, interesting, right?
Who are you? What is it?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, what are you excited about? Not an Oscar.
They've presented themselves an opportunity to reward themselves.
You know what it would be? It would be
to
like
celebrate the British film
industry, which is good. It's like, I guess I have more respect for the West End plays. Like if they're if they have their Tony Awards, I'll respect the hell out of a British play. When it comes to film, I mean, we're Napoleon. It's right here.
We have outstanding lead. Now this doesn't even separate actor and actresses. They're just one roles.
Wow.
Outstanding actor. Yeah. Outstanding lead. So male, female, anything. This went to Lily Gladstone. But not for Killers of the Flower Moon.
What?
Yeah, I know. I thought it was a typo when I looked it up. I was like, wait, what movie is this? Ed, can you guess what movie it is?
I looked it up earlier, and I've forgotten it. Now I've forgotten
I've forgotten it too, and Google doesn't seem to give me the answer immediately. So,
None of us know.
So it was Killers of the Flower Moon.
Wait. None of us know because the movie was called The Unknown Country.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah, I didn't know either. I gotta check it out.
It's got a 6.9 on IMDb. And then we have a breakthrough series under 40 minutes, like a TV show, Beef. You guys ever heard of Netflix's
Beef? I saw Beef.
I haven't
Yeah.
seen it.
I watched Beef.
I had a good
Did you see
time.
Beef?
Yeah, I did see
Me
Beef.
too. It was
liked
enjoyable. They did a good job.
I was
agree.
wondering how they
I
were
thought
going
I
to
was
stick the
not going to
landing.
like it. Yeah. They did. It was a good.
They did.
I wondered too, and their beef really hit what I wanted it to do in the end.
I mean, because you think at the end either they're going to kill each other or it's like,
Right.
yeah, they're going to come together and love each other. Who do you do?
Right.
But then the way they get there, like near the second to last episode, I was like, oh,
Exactly.
it's very good. Who also won for winning breakout role was Ali Wong, who is
Nice.
in Beef. So check it out on Netflix. This episode is brought to you by Netflix.
She's had a couple opportunities. Did you ever see this show? Amazon did a show called Paper Girls. It was based off a comic by Brian K. Vaughan, and it lasted one season. It got canceled. The comic is awesome. The show was not awesome. They missed a lot of the. But Ali Wong was in that too, and then she was in Beef. I was like, they're really like her agent's doing his job or her job.
She was also
Fair
in
job.
What's it called? Harley Quinn, The Birds of Prey. I was trying to think of the actual title.
Was
but
she?
I couldn't think of it fast enough.
I think it might be Birds of Prey, right? The movie?
No, well, yeah. I mean, they shortened it to Birds of Prey now because it was like a really long title. Let's see.
The Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn.
There you go.
That
There
might
you
be
go.
it.
God damn it, Ed. Yes.
I know it is, right?
But you didn't know Unknown Country. Huh. Interesting.
It doesn't pop quite as much. If it was the Fantabulous Unknown Country, then maybe I would have.
That's a good point.
Recent Gotham Award winners have included Oscar winners Everything Everywhere All at Once, Coda, Nomadland,
awesome.
Marriage Story, American Factory, Moonlight, Spotlight, and Birdman.
Birdman.
Ed, do you remember Birdman full title?
Birdman, the unexpected. The unexpected virtue of ignorance.
Oh yeah,
I think
the
that's
unexpected
good.
virtue of ignorance. There you go.
Yeah.
Wow, good job.
Well, thank you for walking me along with that, Stephen.
Thanks
for holding my
hand. Together on my own, though.
Stephen, you're contributing a lot to this podcast. I like it.
Thank you.
Indeed. I'm just
I'm
cruising. I'm just going to let you do the Miguel thing.
Okay. I love it, baby. This is great. It's all vibes.
It's all vibes. Great.
Yeah.
Listen, we're not going to dip too much about news because we have business to do. We have things we got to take care of.
I have one piece of news. One piece of news.
What is
quick.
it?
This is it. Henry Kissinger just died like a couple hours ago. Like I don't know if you want to date the podcast, but
I was
Henry
curious
Kissinger died at
about
100.
this. We're talking about the Henry Kissinger.
The Henry Kissinger just passed away. Like I got like a 500 text.
I did get a text about it, and then I thought they were joking, so I didn't acknowledge it.
So did I.
Yeah.
Right. So did I. So, but then when I kept getting more, I was like, oh. One of my friends sent me a voice message I can't listen to because we're, but it's just a really wild deal. And it just
That's crazy.
politically, historically. He was 100 years old.
Yeah, what
That's
the fuck
crazy.
has he been doing?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Probably overthrowing African nations, slaughtering children. I don't know. What his favorite pastimes?
Yeah.
Throwing
in his old age.
darts at humans. Yeah.
Right.
Well, cool.
Anyway, just want to throw it out there.
Shout out to Henry Kissinger. Pour one out.
He came back from the dead to die again.
So, good riddance. Anyway,
good riddance to now an historical figure. Let's talk about this historical movie, Napoleon. According to IMDb, an epic that details the checkered rise and fall of French Emperor Napoleon Bonaparte and his journey to power through the prism of a volatile relationship with his wife, Josephine.
Josephine.
Nice.
All right. Listen, I'm going to be honest. I'm not as much of a history nerd as you guys, so I'm really going to let you guys take the lead on this conversation because this was my first experience of like Napoleon's history. So I was like, oh, okay, so that happened.
Yeah.
He hit a
That's
cannon
really
on the
important to
pyramid.
me.
You know what I mean?
That's exactly. That's really important to us.
I think that marred my experience, but I do want to know how you felt about it. So why don't you start, and we'll fix your issues.
And we'll fix her. Because exactly that. I was wondering, if I knew nothing about, if this was my first foray into Napoleon, would I even be able to follow this thing at all? Yeah, would it even register?
So a lot of just like wild things happen, like from moment to moment. In fact, at the end of this, I'm like, was this guy even good at his job?
I wrote that down. I was like, how would you even know he was great? Why would you even know? Why would this movie even be made if you watch it? The first thing
he did, I felt like he stumbled into a victory, and then he just kept getting thrown power and power and power. Yes. And he's like, hey, guess what? You're going to be emperor now. He's like, okay. And then he just kind of stumbled his way and lost at this Waterloo. You know what I mean? So it didn't feel like his people have told me he's a great leader and all these battles.
He's one of the greatest human beings that has ever run a country ever. He is.
That did not register to me at all.
He's been called like the most efficient, efficient human being of all time. He's
the way
been
they
known
make
as
it in the movie at the very end, they were like, "Oh, he can't help himself. He's just going to attack straight on." And so it's just like there's the coolest scene. I would say the one cool thing about it all was the frozen tundra scene with the cannons.
Austerlitz. That was my favorite too.
The only reason why I'm bringing this up too is because I felt like I like Ridley Scott. We're going to talk about Ridley Scott and all of his rankings and stuff. And the one thing I like about him is how he plays with foreground, background, and motion. You know what I mean? Like something's happening in front, like smoke or rain, and the background there's rain, and the way that he just frames everything beautifully. And just for this movie, I was going in wanting to see that, and I just felt so uninspired by what I saw in the framing and the blocking. It was just like, flat. It just felt flat. Like we turned to one character, then to the other, and to the other, and even like the battle scenes, like I didn't really feel, energized by it. Except for there's that one cool shot where the cannon goes through the ice, and then the character like falls down, and he like drifts into nothingness. I was like, oh wow, there here is like a little bit of artistic thing. Outside of that, it was just like basic shot like setups without, I don't know, anything that it really inspired. But, the biggest thing that I liked about it was just Joaquin Phoenix and Vanessa Kirby. I feel like they performed really well with what was given to them. And that was kind of like the thing that I tied to. I know this is going to be a 4-hour cut, and I'm hoping that fleshes things out the same way that Kingdom of Heaven was fleshed out when we got a director's cut. That was also panned for not, kind of moving from plot point to plot point without any like reason or rhyme. Like, wait, why is that happening? So I'm hoping that happens because it did just feel like here's a man, and then the plot was just kind of like running through him for the most part. For me,
absolutely.
That was the effect I got. It just became so blaring to me that like it didn't feel
that's what I figured,
and he didn't seem like a great like leader.
I the whole time I was watching, I was just thinking, if I knew nothing about Napoleon, it would look like all of this is just happening to him. Mm-hmm. Like he has no say in anything that's happening. He's just hanging out, and they're saying, here's a promotion, here's a crown, here, take this. You won a battle. How? Who cares? He just when he was a literal genius. Like his military strategy is still studied today. He was brilliant, and when he crowns himself, he's 35 years old. He was already our age.
I didn't know that. See, that'd be good to like frame that up a little, set that up a bit. You know what I mean? So I can understand that perspective.
He revolutionized how warfare was conducted during those times. Like,
I feel like he literally went out of his way to show how small and bad he was at his job. Because the way you're explaining it to me
against Napoleon.
Yeah, the way you're explaining it to me, it sounds like the complete opposite of what was shown.
Yeah.
So
this is propaganda. This movie was anti-Napoleon British propaganda through and fucking through. Because there's no Napoleon on that screen.
Napoleon. I don't think they did much justice to the British either, to be honest.
I was stunned by that. I agree. I was stunned by that too. I was like, at least pick a side.
I think, if I may give my thoughts real quick, I feel like this was the feeling of it just felt on par, and this is what I was afraid of going into it, on par with most of Scott's output in the last decade or so, which just has all felt consistently bland. Even the color palette of most of his movies of late have just been this weird beigey color. We were talking about who was it, Steven Spielberg or
his
Clint
Blue
Eastwood
Haze era? Yeah,
his Blue Haze.
Clint
and,
Eastwood. Yeah,
they're all terrible at it, and Ridley Scott does it with this kind of beige palette, and it just makes it so boring. And in a time where you have these decadent costumes and country colors, you kind of want that to pop, and whatever, that's his choice, but it just makes it look drab, and like we were saying, it looks flat. It doesn't pull you in. It's not like it doesn't capture that grandeur of that time, and I feel like in one aspect it achieves or at least touches upon the turbulent relationship between Napoleon and Josephine.
Right.
But like you were saying, Luis, I really just wanted so much more of that. And I wanted more of the political behind the scenes, so you understood more how he came into power. Seeing how those two intertwined would have been much more interesting than trying to cover the entirety of his military career. And maybe that's the one thing I came out of this movie just hoping that maybe a 4-hour cut, but also at the same time, it shouldn't be necessary to have a 4-hour cut. It depends. Like, obviously, we've had some long movies recently. Talking about Oppenheimer was longer than this movie, but it felt like it covered more ground and more effectively.
Oh yeah.
The obviously Killers of the Flower Moon we did recently, 3.5 hours, and that movie is jam packed with information, character development, and you feel the story, and you care for the characters.
It's like actually good pacing on that in Killers. It's like we're moving and we're moving and we're moving and we're moving.
Exactly, but here it just feels like it's glossed. Everything is glossed over. The history is the factual elements to it is what Ridley Scott has just hand plucked for, what he thinks in his mind will look cool or look good cinematically. And like I said, they dabble in those relationship scenes, but you just need so much more of it. It feels like House of Gucci meets kind of like
what was the one he made? It was like Love of the Money, or it was something
All the
about
Money in the World.
It was All the Money in the World.
And the drama felt more like those movies, but the action just felt more like a montage of, images, and that was it. Factually, none of those battles, to me at least, made sense, and they were a horrible depiction of how warfare was conducted in those days.
Oh yeah.
So much so that the battles felt just superfluous to the entire story.
Wow.
And I think
I wrote down a bunch of notes.
Oh,
I wrote down a bunch of.
I wrote down into it.
I just want to show you my notes. I wrote down a bunch of notes of all the mistakes of the movie.
Nice.
I brought that prop out for that one joke.
Nice.
That's good. It was a good prop.
Thank
For
you.
the listeners at home, it was just a big ass book. What's funny about
planes filed against Ridley Scott.
What's funny is I thought, because you guys know so much, I thought, okay, maybe this is more enjoyable for those who know Napoleon's history because they already have all that in their brain. They're like, okay, this is just kind of I don't know, little moments that they can appreciate, but I don't know.
I don't know much about Napoleon and Josephine. I've been getting into a lot more of everything surrounding the battles, but the battles are what I know the most about, in particular Waterloo. I feel like the one thing that they did get right, in fact, or close to right, and we should clarify, as with any movie, you can go into these things expecting a little bit of dramatic liberties to be taken for the sake of brevity, also just clarity too for the average moviegoer. Not everybody is going to understand this stuff just at face level.
Yeah.
So, I feel like I can forgive some of those things. However, I can't forgive a single battle in this movie. But I thought that I thought the coup of
Brumaire.
Brumaire.
My brain exploded. That was when my notes were like, I hate Ridley Scott. Like, it was like shit like Ridley Scott deserves to die. Like, those are my notes. They played it like it was Naked Gun. It was a slapstick. He like falling down the stairs and stuff. I'm telling you, this movie is about if you don't worship Napoleon like I do, then this is like, maybe it's digestible. But if you love Napoleon, this was a joke. Like, this was like an insult. This is like him like spitting on your parents' grave. It was like, and you could tell he's doing it on purpose. He is legitimately trying to make this man a joke when he is one of the greatest men of Western civilization. Brumaire, he fell down. He's like swatting their hands away in the door, and he's like shocked. His brother puts a knife.
Brumaire was very,
It was shocking. I'm not saying he wasn't shocked. I'm saying he doesn't have to fall around like he's Leslie Neeson.
It very almost didn't like work. It didn't pan out.
I agree.
I thought they depicted that pretty well in terms of just like the tone that they were trying to capture. But it was like this dance between seriousness and then this kind of like deadpan approach. Yeah, like this deadpan approach to who he was. I love the scenes with him and Josephine where he's trying to get laid and shit like that.
Me too.
I thought that was like an interesting. That's an interesting play on the typical tyrannical biopic. Like, instead of having like the master of Europe being really good in bed, he's just like, the average pig of a man.
It actually informed a lot of the character and the relationship when that happened. It was like, absolutely. I understand why.
There just wasn't enough of it. Like,
that needs to be contrasted against.
Yeah, there wasn't enough of their transgressions, because obviously, let me touch on it, like Napoleon had lovers too, and Josephine as well, obviously, and they do highlight that in the movie. But I just wanted so much more of it, because that's the most entertaining.
I agree. I wish this had been called Josephine, and we let Vanessa Kirby be the main character, and then we can get tiny shots of Napoleon out in battle.
Like the events,
just
like
focus on her.
The big historical events happening kind of like in the background.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Like seeing the fallout of Waterloo and Austerlitz, and Austerlitz coming back all victorious and stuff.
He came back from Moscow.
Yeah,
he came back from Moscow, and like the next scene, they're kicking him out. Like the next scene, that was 2 years later.
Yeah,
I was just like, wow.
They did that again with they had like, marry this person, baby. You know what I mean, or something like that. Yeah. I was like,
she was like, you need an heir. Here's the woman. Here's the baby. Like, she went boom, boom, boom. The mom just
it
went
was.
Boom,
it was
boom,
just
boom,
like
boom.
checking off those.
Damn.
And I do think, like, again, to Ridley Scott's credit, especially with Kingdom of Heaven, that extra however many, like 30, 45 minutes that movie got in the director's cut,
it really fleshed it.
It made the world a difference. Did it help Orlando Bloom's performance? No. But
it's
like,
impossible.
but like in this, it just felt like there was so much more, at least in the dramatical sequences. But like the battle sequences, I really don't know if they can be saved. Just the setup alone of Waterloo was infuriating to me. But I also I tried to take it with a grain of salt, thinking like they're not going to be able to give each battle fully satisfying interpretation. But this felt just like bare minimum effort. Honestly, he depicted it as if during this time, all that battles would do, two armies would do, is just charge into the middle of the field. And that's
a lot. That happened constantly in his movie.
That's all that happened. Like the Austerlitz, they treated Austerlitz like a surprise attack, and
they don't have him coming like off the Preston Heights or anything.
Yeah, these battles took like a fucking day to fight.
Oh, guys, get this. This is sorry. I just keep cutting off Ed, but it's like I was in England. I was in London and the 200th anniversary in 2015 of Waterloo, and the BBC played it like on the radio. They went like minute by minute, like what was happening, and it started at like 8 a.m. and it ended at like 8 p.m. It took all damn day, and that really helped me understand how exhausting.
I need to look that up, actually.
It's really cool. Yeah, exactly. And they would like breaking news. Napoleon has moved his left flank to Hujima. Like, it was cool. Yeah, it was awesome. And then it's like breaking news an hour later, the Brits have taken back Hujima.
If I had been like a movie director, I would have wanted to. I mean, Waterloo is a movie in itself, and it has been before.
Have you seen it? That's what I was going to say. Rod Seeger's, of course, right? Yeah.
It's great. It's great.
So I'll say that one tactic that they do is like the only thing I feel like I learned from Waterloo is that the whole like circling up and stabbing. Did that happen?
Oh, the squares. Yeah, that happened. The squares were real. The squares really occurred.
I know, that was like they did that in. What's that?
Yeah, that was a common. That's a common tactic against cavalry charges.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was it. How about the sniper, Ed? Did you like a sniper at Waterloo? Why not drop a nuclear bomb? And the jets flying overhead. Sure.
Yeah, I was surprised Oppenheimer didn't walk up. It was just like, I can nuke Paris. So like Ridley Scott plays with obviously like. The winner in history is the one who writes history.
Right. That's a fact.
And going through history, it's also a romantic period where being in the military was, a romanticized idea.
Yes.
No matter how awful it was. So like people, whenever they reflect on these battles, they say things, the story was that the captain of a gun crew said he could hit Napoleon with his cannon.
Oh, right. And with the cannon, yeah. Okay,
Ridley Scott thought it was like, oh, well, let's just make it a sniper. Fuck it. And we'll also have Napoleon lead the charge onto the field, and then we'll have that same sniper shoot a hole in his hat, just to remind you that he was there.
I've talked about this with Game of Thrones. Like when you remove one, it's like Jenga block. If you remove one thing, you have to be careful what you remove later. What was missing from this movie was his marshals. There's no Murat, there's no Ney, there's no Davout, there's no Lan. He's missing all these people who should be doing those charges, who should be doing those things. Who would be influencing his decisions. They were having these conversations. He's not just sitting soaking in a rabbit hole.
We're going down a rabbit hole.
Are we? Is this the discussion?
This is the discussion.
We're throwing out facts with like no context to Luis. Like
sorry. Well, that's the movie.
I'm picking up what you're throwing down. No, like that would be those type of relationships would be fascinating. Like I got maybe like a second of it in the Battle of Waterloo when he had that like second in command guy who he was kind of talking to. I was like,
it was like representing the whole stuff.
But having more of a relationship with his soldiers, I felt like he didn't have them at all, because there was a moment when he was like, exiled to that island, and he's like, you know what? I want to come back to France. And they all had a gun to him, and they were like, you know what? We like you. And I'm like, wait, when did this happen? Why? How? What is the relationship between their soldiers and him? Why did they just disobey orders? Like, what's happening?
Yes, dude. Well, that's the one. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say the one thing that is missing from this movie, the reason why I call this slander, like it is directly an attack on Napoleon, is because of the way Joaquin plays it. Like I wrote down at one point, Joaquin has no idea who Napoleon is. None. I doubt he's ever read a book or anything on Napoleon, because he did it exactly wrong. Great actor. I'm not saying he's a bad actor or anything. I'm saying he has no one helped him.
And that could have been a directing thing where Ridley Scott was pushing him towards that direction. He's like, okay, I'm going to lean hard on that. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Napoleon was remarkably charismatic. He had extreme charisma. He was lively. He worked constantly. He was nonstop writing. We have 30,000 of his letters, like in museums, like of how much he write. He was prolific. He was alive.
Especially with his men too.
With his men, they loved him. So that's what's missing, Lou. When you say, why do they do that? Because they loved him. The loyalty for Napoleon was through the roof.
But there was also people who obviously opposed. They hinted at the royalists throughout the movie.
For sure,
you remember, Luis, in the movie, there was that brief uprising in Paris, and he blows them all down
with a grape shot.
Yeah, with a grape shot. But that happened, or that not that necessarily happened, like that, but that event happened.
You have, and this is what's missing is the politics, though. We're missing this overarching. What is happening and why is Marie Antoinette getting executed? Like, why are these events occurring? The people, Europe itself is divided between republicanism and monarchy. I mean, these two concepts are what are going to war. Go ahead. I was just going to say, I don't think he includes that.
Like making him into what's it called?
Emperor.
An emperor. I'm like, wait, we just start. How are we going? We're like jumping. I'm getting whiplash here, with that explanation.
For sure.
Hey, that was a question that I was asking myself for years, but as I was learning more about Napoleon, because, you think the whole point of the French Revolution is to abolish the monarchy, and then 20 years later, not even, they crown an emperor. He was popular.
They're trying to make peace with the royalists.
But they also had people there were groups of royalists who attempted to assassinate him.
That's in the trailer, and it wasn't in the movie. It's got to be an extra footage. There's a shot in the trailer where his carriage is upside down, and he's looking out at night, and it's on fire. Someone tried to put a bomb in his carriage and it flipped him, but he didn't die.
Wait, what?
And that's in the trailer, but it wasn't in the movie. Yeah, they put not like you're thinking, like explosives, right? Like gunpowder and lighting it off.
Yeah, gunpowder and a barrel and a timed,
Mm-hmm.
So that's the thing, is this whole movie was, especially at the way Ridley Scott works, which is, you feel kind of like carelessly. He made this 4-hour epic, and then they were just like, you got to cut it down for theatrical release. And he was just like, all right.
Slash.
Pull this.
Yeah. Where you have Martin Scorsese fighting. He's fighting for each frame, and he's like, "You wanted a 2:30? Sure, cut." I mean, this man has director cuts on all of his movies because he doesn't care. He's like,
"It happens every time."
Whatever.
And he always says, "Oh, well, wait till the director's cut." It's like, Ridley, man. The other day, I read an interview. Of course, his interviews are usually outrageous because he says stupid shit. But the other day, somebody, I guess, was talking about Killers of the Flower Moon or something.
Yes, yeah.
And he was like, well, yeah, Martin Scorsese made one movie in the time that I made 3.
Yeah,
or something like
that's
that.
Not a brag. That's not something to brag about.
Brag.
Yeah.
Your movies are consistently mediocre. I'll give you that.
Yeah. So when we were doing the ranking, I went through all the lists of Ridley Scott's, and I was like, "Oh, this is kind of easy." Half of them were he just wrote them away forever. And
some is just yeah, exactly. Some are just good God, but that's why it's a fun one, because it's just man, he's really had some stinkers. But he's a high profile director. It's weird. It's just that weird dynamic. He's already established himself. And so now he can make whatever. And it just, he's so cavalier about it. And this, if you'd asked me 20 years ago, Ridley Scott is going to make a Napoleon epic, I would have been oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Fantastic. And Kingdom of Heaven, it felt more like a studio thing. I feel like he probably had more artistic, heft on this film, but still, they needed a theatrical release, so they cut it to shit. But it's a broad story, and they're trying to capture everything. If they had just started it when Josephine enters into his life and ends it, they could have been after Josephine's death, Napoleon lost at Waterloo, yada yada, and then whatever. But focus on one thing or the other. You knew the moment that this movie went from the title Kitbag to the title Napoleon, that they weren't going to do what they were saying they were doing, which was focusing on the relationship. They were going to try and paint a broad stroke picture of Napoleon,
everything,
and everything. And in so doing, it just gives you this unfocused, highly, and I can forgive historical inaccuracies. Like Braveheart is one of my favorite films, but only if it has. But like the battles are skewered, and they just have no dramatic weight to them either. True. Like most of the time, you feel like, why is this happening? Why is it important?
Yeah,
because you don't know the context of it. You don't really get some insight to the opponents other than Wellington at the end. And again, that's a very just kind of cliche look at Wellington. It's nothing.
It was. I wrote down. I was like, Rupert Everett is a cartoon character. Like,
he was. And Luis, like in the Waterloo movie, you should check it out. It's free on YouTube. Mm-hmm. It's hard to find. It's hard to find. If you can get it on Plex, even better. That'd be great.
Yeah.
But you can watch it for free on YouTube, and this also goes for our audience.
It's long. Just to warn you, it's a long. Is it like 2 hours?
It's only
2 hours. I've done so many Martin Scorsese movies. 2 hours is nothing. Okay, 2 hours for me is easy. I've been doing 245s, 330s, 301s. I've been doing 250s.
This is a breeze. This is a breeze.
I'm happy. Yeah.
Okay, then it's very short.
Chock full of action, incredible cinematic shots, and done back in the 70s. They're doing it for real, and you have Christopher Plummer playing Wellington and Rod Steiger as Napoleon.
Yeah,
and they're great.
They're great.
The movie, they don't delve too much into like the psyche of both men, but they capture the essence of both of them, and it's full of great one-liners. Like the whole movie, it's like Christopher Plummer rocks in that film, but Rod Steiger's great too.
Jesus, it opens with him with this big Napoleon sort of like monologue. It's a lot of fun because he's like losing his mind.
Yeah, you meet him when he's getting exiled.
Right, then he's just tanked.
Yeah. So anyway, Napoleon. Yeah, man.
There were a bunch of things.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say there's a lot of things that I was hearing a lot of stuff. I know, Ed, you were like avoiding spoilers or reviews and stuff, but I couldn't. It was all over like Reddit. Like I'm in these history subreddits and like the posts.
Yeah, me too.
And it's every post is like in the Napoleon subreddit, every post is like, this is the worst movie ever made. Ridley Scott should be publicly executed. It's crazy. They went nuts. And so I was like, all right, that's too far. I'll defend it a little. Like I'm going to go in this with an open mind and be like, you're exaggerating. But I get why they were so offended and so mad. Like one of the things they were saying was that Joaquin Phoenix is too old. And I was like, well, you can use your imagination. But in that first act, I was like, oh, he's too old. Like he's playing shy and scared. And it's like, he was 21. I can see a 21-year-old being scared. But when Joaquin is being scared, it just looks like a loser. He just looks like an idiot.
Whoa. In my mind, I never thought 21. I never thought 21 when I saw him.
Right.
In the beginning, I was like,
long.
And Josephine is
maybe
supposed to be older than him.
Yeah, Josephine's older than him. Okay. So there would be a natural shyness. And Joaquin is shy.
Yeah. I mean, it's always hard to cast younger people and then go into older.
Yeah.
And when you got Joaquin Phoenix, you want to use them. But yeah, man. Like they're always boasting about how many cameras Ridley Scott has on set.
Oh yeah.
And how much footage they actually capture. And like I listened to an interview with Joaquin Phoenix and Vanessa Kirby, and they were talking about like, oh yeah, we had like scenes that would go on for 7, 9, 10 minutes. And it was just like, well, you don't see that because it's chopped to bits. Yeah. Like every scene is very brief, and to a point where some scenes start feeling repetitious because you're like one moment you're at Josephine's mansion, you go to Russia, you do this other thing, and then you're back at Josephine's mansion.
You're back.
And then like he goes, has a baby, comes back, and whatever, out of sequence, but whatever. It's just
the transition should have been better. It should have been smoother.
A little more context would have helped each situation.
It just felt like he was just like, you want me to cut it? I'll cut it. I don't care. Cut.
Characters came and went. Yeah. The friend of his at the beginning who tells him about Josephine's affair, he disappears
disappeared completely.
And I never realized which one of his friends he was supposed to be.
Yeah, I don't know either, because his later staff is all there the whole movie.
Yeah.
Like Valancourt and Berthier, they're all there behind him the whole time. I mean, in the end, so I was like, well, at least they're there. They're not saying much, but at least they're there.
Weird.
And some characters get like name cards, but that's it. Like
some got name cards, and then like I don't know if you noticed at the end the ship got a name card. I thought that was so goofy. The ship got one. Who gives a shit? Like, if anyone would give a shit, it'd be me. Like, it's the history people, and I don't give a shit. So why'd you put it in? It was so weird.
It was random. It was just like, oh shit, we forgot to name the boat. Fuck it.
Let's put it in.
Slap it on.
Do you remember Luis, especially the scene where he's being deposed after Rushy comes back, and there's he's sitting down, and there's a whole group of people standing in. All those people should have been characters from the movie. They're all characters from his history. They're like his marshals. They should have been throughout the movie. They were doing things with him. They were on campaign. They were close to him. They were talking to him. All of those people should have had lines. They should have been casted. We should have known their names. Yeah. And that would make the impact of them being like, you got to go.
Yeah.
So much more painful.
We have a relationship and it pains me to do this or I have to do it.
They were all there.
Yeah.
No, one of the guys, like,
this movie's biggest problem was always going to be it had to make a choice between Napoleon and Josephine or Napoleon's career.
I agree.
As simple as that.
But they're the career, it's so heavily intertwined. Like his relationship with his soldiers seems like, I mean, that's a lot.
But that's what
I
mean.
If you're going to do the soldiers and Josephine, then you got to do, like you guys are saying, one moment in his life so that you can really relish who he is.
Shorten the time span even. We didn't need to really see him at Toulon. Like we could have caught up with him in the aftermath. Like there's a lot you can cut out, and you can focus on Waterloo, but don't depict it like you're about to depict the whole battle. But because they crammed the whole battle in, it's a fucking joke. And same with Austerlitz.
Sniper guy.
Sniper, he had a scope.
But that's like the least of my problems. The least of my problems. The whole layout of the armies was wrong. The direction of where the Prussians came from was wrong. Like there wasn't even
4 options. Yeah,
Luis, the center of Waterloo, right in the center of the field, there was a farmhouse called La Haye Sainte. It didn't exist in the movie.
Yeah.
No,
there's different words.
Hougoumont was the
town.
chateau. Well,
okay, that's what we're saying.
I'm talking about La Haye Sainte, the farmhouse in the center of the field.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay, gotcha.
All that to say is, like, for starters, you have 2 fucking buildings that aren't in the movie that were like key components. Yeah, he just found a field that kind of looked like a valley, and they dug entrenchments. Another thing is it
was not raining.
They didn't break down camp. Yeah. Like, they just left their camp up. Like, no. And it's right behind the front line of the army on either side. It's just like, Ridley Scott, I know the man likes to use flags, and he'll use any excuse to put flags in his movies. And so just the moment I saw all of those tents, and each one having like this 10-foot fucking flag on top of each tent, you're just like, no, man. It just like, it looks stupid. It's not practical in any sense whatsoever. Like,
I don't know why these directors don't just, it seems like if I was a Hollywood director, I would just hire this history crew and just say, do whatever the fuck. Like, I wouldn't even get involed in that. It's less work for me.
Like the Northman, directed Robert Eggers, right?
Yeah.
He hired, he was like down to the wood on the boat, the wood on the door frame of these houses. Like, he made sure to make, like, this was historically like exactly how it was. This is the way
they wouldn't show us a Viking funeral, though. I kept waiting for that. Yeah. It's like, this is close.
It definitely became more like magical as it went on. Do you know what I mean? Okay,
but they cut certain things out because you don't want to put that shit in.
Yeah.
A Viking funeral involves like horrible crimes, like much more horrible than they showed.
Universal Studios, not yet.
Here's the thing: fair. Ridley Scott has previously shown a knack for like historical accuracy. Like Black Hawk Down, most of that battle is pretty accurate according to like how that.
Too.
I studied it in school.
It's like the same movie. It's wild.
It is. It's like a play by play,
like line by line.
So it's kind of it's crazy. Like again, like you had to pick between, but he tried to make the best of both of it. And then furthermore, the studio is going to market it as a broad historical epic, where in every interview they keep saying, no, it's about Josephine Napoleon.
They marketed it wrong. They marketed it to us. Yeah. Like hey, you like history, like reading about Napoleon, you're going to love this movie. And that was not
That's
true.
what I kept telling myself. I was just like, they're going to try and focus on the relationship.
That was smart.
And
you're right.
But even with that idea in mind going into this movie, it still disappointed me. You know what I mean? It's just like I tried to ready myself in the best way, but it's.
I had a question about the whiplash thing, especially for like Louis, because you don't know who this person is. But do you remember Tsar Alexander the First, who is in the movie?
The Russian?
Yeah, the Russian.
Yeah.
What did you think about him and Napoleon? Like, what's going on? Like, what is happening? Why was he in the movie? What's happening with this guy?
I don't know.
Like, how would you describe him?
I don't know. Like, he's just a young, aloof character. He's just like doing his own, thinks he's smarter than everybody kind of situation. Entitled. I mean, I really couldn't pin him, but I guess him being so young, he's kind of an unpinnable character, but he's egotistical.
No, that's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
And brief.
It was just so weird to me. They kept being like, I want to meet Tsar Alexander or whatever. And I was like, why? There's no context for why he wants to meet the Russians. And then he's like, hey, we're friends. And then Alexander has betrayed me. And then they're friends. And then he has betrayed me.
Okay,
I didn't know who this was. I would be like, what the hell is going on and why? Who is this guy?
The only reason he's actually the only character that's kind of allowed to do that because he's young and stupid. And it's like young people can do that. It's just like, okay, I guess. Yeah. And you're Russia. So you feel all powerful. You're like, no one can take us down. They were also felt like they were unstoppable or whatever. But he was also strange. It was also very strange too.
Yeah, I feel like if I didn't know who he was, I wouldn't have any grasp of why he's in the movie or what he's even doing. Like,
let's talk about this.
I don't know why they're going to war.
The same could be said about so many characters in this film.
You're right. Well,
that was also a question too. Why was he conquering why was he conquering all these places again? Like at some point I was like, wait, why are we doing this? You already liberated kind of France. Where are we moving? Where are we going?
I'm telling you, I firmly believe this. The reason why a lot of that stuff is not in the movie, I truly believe, is because, again, this is an anti-Napoleon film. And if they put the context in the film, you're going to be on his side. The only way to make him a bloodthirsty mad conqueror is to pretend that we don't know why these coalitions formed. I don't know why he's going to war. That's the only way to justify him as a monster. At the end of the movie,
too, he's killed all of these people. Millions of people died.
Fucked. That's also not true. Those stats are wrong. I was like, I couldn't believe those are casualty numbers. Casualties are not death. And he put up death. He said, this many people died. That is a lie. That's how many people were
made
injured.
It seem like he killed like 22 million of his men or whatever like that.
There's
for no reason.
There's numbers that are going to vary too. Like Austerlitz, like allegedly the whole smashing on the ice when the Russians were trying to retreat never
Do you
even
know how many bodies they found? Yeah,
none.
They found under the ice is like, exactly. Yeah, they have like horses, but there's like one corpse they found.
There's like barely any evidence to suggest. And like, because people say like it's a dark situation that occurred in Napoleon's, career, but also it wasn't unheard of for opposing armies to chase each other when the other army is in retreat. That's not crazy.
They act like he's
that wasn't like the whole like lake on ice thing wasn't like the whole plan of the day,
I thought it was like, it's kind of clever. He trapped them.
I'm gonna get those guys on the ice, and then I'm gonna break that ice.
Yeah.
That's the plan here. No, it was
much smarter than that. It was much smarter.
Like Austerlitz is like one of his greatest achievements.
It's genius.
You wouldn't think
it's perfect.
You wouldn't get that. You get that they won, but that's it.
But even that was whiplash too, because they kept trying to present again. I'm telling you, if you just give this, not the script, but if you have to let someone who actually understands Napoleon make a film, because if you're trying to make him look like an asshole,
history consultant,
you're going to get whiplash. Yeah, you're going to get whiplash because you have to twist history to make him this idiot. So they make him this idiot brute, but then Austerlitz shows up and he's a genius, and then we're back to idiot brute. That whiplash is because he's a genius all the time, and Ridley Scott is terrified of showing that.
I got you.
He is terrified of just letting him
Ridley
be
Scott's
great.
like, well, I can't warp this too much. He does win this war, so
it's impossible. If he could have warped Austerlitz, he would have.
I think the only time that contrast works is, again, when he's with Josephine.
Exactly. That's fine. He could be that weird, creepy brute in the bedroom, because he kind of was weird. If he's a genius outside the bedroom, then I'll accept it.
It was, and he was like socially awkward as a lover or whatever. He bloomed late, as it were.
He was not beloved by women. He wasn't like he had many women, but he wasn't loved by women.
Yeah, Josephine obviously. Josephine already had been married. Her husband had died. Like, she'd be forgiven for like not giving a shit, or at least just using him for her, for better means to. Save her life.
Survival.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Survival. It was terrifying. Like, during that time, like anybody.
I wish that had been the first
Napoleon was
terror.
afraid of it. Yeah, like terror around Josephine, and then stumbling on Napoleon, who's this up and coming guy.
See, the movie should have been Josephine. It should have been from her angle finding this guy.
His political partners. He introduced them, right?
Yeah, well, actually, I think it went the other way around. They showed Paul Barra. He was, he's actually throughout the whole movie, Luis, he had curly dark hair. He's the one who gave him his assignment.
Yeah.
And he was like, here's what you're going to do. And then he was like sitting with Josephine and everything. It's actually inverted, I think. God, I hope I'm not wrong. I think it's inverted where he met Josephine and Josephine introduced him to Barra. And from there, he starts getting promotions. Like, he uses Josephine as like a stepping stool to move up in aristocratic society. So they both gain from each other. It's not just that they're just madly in love.
This is so wild. No, it's
so
like,
different,
what
dude.
universe am I living in where like I'm hearing two different things? I feel like I'm getting gaslit here with all this information.
By Ridley Scott. By the way, and this is a point I stand by. I don't care what you're like, for people who study or English people and how they feel. Anyone that tries to tell you Napoleon wasn't great is gaslighting you. They are fucking with you because he was great, and they're either jealous or they're ignorant. But there's no way to consider Napoleon not great. And that guy on the screen,
a lot of people generalize, and like obviously, in hindsight, yes, he's a tyrant. He was terrifying.
Yes,
hundreds of thousands of people died, millions of people, whatever. But like, he was doing whatever most monarchs were trying to do during that time. It wasn't uncommon. He just did it supremely well.
Better.
Well, and France was in such a vulnerable. France was such a vulnerable state. Like it was
exactly.
So
that's what they're doing is defending their country. They are defending their nation against all of Europe.
It was eating itself up.
He stabilizes the country, and then he pushes back the enemy. They love him today for this.
Yeah.
He helped create the tricolor, the flag they fly now, the laws that they have now. All that's Napoleon. Napoleonic Code still exists.
Yeah.
Like, he restructured all of this stuff. Half of Paris, you were just there, half of Paris is Napoleon. Like the Arc de Triomphe is Napoleon. Their names are all written. By the way, all those people missing from the movie, their names are all written on that arc. They all defended their country from Europe. Wow. They did it. Well, not
and
the end, but
they could have covered that, and they could have covered that, but also like his darker ambitions. It does take a certain kind of mindset to go from protecting your country to wanting to control all of Europe and then into Russia,
And that Russia campaign was all his offensive idea. There's no like he was defending something.
Exactly. At
ambitious.
a certain point he can, exactly.
Yeah.
And
so you can paint him as a villain at the end. I have no problem with that. You can paint him
that's like the natural evolution of
exactly.
it.
That's the natural evolution of everyone that puts a crown on their head.
It's like every time he's like going to war in this film, it's just okay, he's got his general's cap on, and here he's got his fuck buddy cap on. It's just like it's
my dearest Josephine.
My dearest Josephine. Everybody kind of walked away from this saying like, oh yeah, Vanessa Kirby's great. I do think she was great, but I just don't think she was given enough to do.
No, there's nothing for her to do.
Yeah,
she was working with as much as she could. Do you know what I mean? With what she had to make up more stuff to fill up the gaps that were there for her character.
They should have given her a real script.
Yeah, I think they both had good chemistry. They had good chemistry.
They were fun.
You know, in the weird sense, like in the fun, weird.
Yeah,
the weird way. I love that dinner scene where she's like, "You're getting fat," and it's like,
yeah, me too.
You know what? I like my food. Destiny has brought me here. Destiny has given me this lamb chop. Like, that's great. Like, that's good, more of what I wanted. Like, those were, and that's what I mean. It's just like, I kind of like the more enjoyable parts of House of Gucci thrown in to a Napoleonic,
the volley back and forth thing.
And he's known for this. Like in history, he's very witty. He's very smart. He's very witty. Like there was a line at Waterloo where he says anything to tell the men. He says, "Tell them to make it stop raining" or something. That's super Napoleon. I love that line because like that's now we see him. He would be witty and funny and goofy like that. Like Destiny has given this land shot. That's a very Napoleon thing to say. he was
like he would declare all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, he would declare. Oh, that's so true. He wasn't just like downward oath. Yeah, I realize. I think Napoleon has a line where he says, like to Josephine, he says, "Of the few happy moments, you were a part of all of them," or something. And it's right then I was like, I think Joaquin's playing him like a manic depressive or something. Like he's playing him like he's depressed, which we don't have any evidence of that.
I always give.
He's very lively. He's very manic.
I always say that sometimes if we don't like the performance, I try to put that onus on the director, but it's also hard to move past it when the history of movies you've seen him in right now with Joker and Beau is Afraid and just these movies where he's like, he's kind of playing these like scaredy, like, you know, shy characters.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's like, oh, you're making it seem like this is just him all the time. You know what I mean? And so
it does. Yeah.
I know he's doing Joker next again, but yeah, I'm hoping to see something very drastic and different.
This should have been a 180. This should have been a complete change from those characters. He's not a dour, sullen man. Well, at the end of his life, maybe, but in the opening years of his life, he is extremely bombastic and really believes in himself. I mean, he is truly lets go. Like in Toulon, he is gung ho about breaking the rules. He wants to break the rules.
Like that first scene
he pushes. Yeah, sorry.
No, I was saying that first scene where he takes back, he kicks the British out because they're doing the blockade.
Yeah, that's Toulon.
That's too long.
Okay. So when that happens, yes, of course, people can be afraid, but for the most part, he seemed very scared and shy the whole time. If you're talking about him being brave and bold, and being brave and bold, like that would be great to see. I'll tell you what, though.
He was extremely courageous. He was the last,
horse getting his chest blown out.
Blew my mind. I don't know this movie.
I was like, what?
It was so unnecessary. I know. I thought that was his head. I thought his head was gone. Yeah. Like the horse's head. I was like, I couldn't
believe I saw that. I was shocked. I was shocked.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God.
Me too.
I'm strapped in for this movie. And then I was like, okay, well, that was the climax of everything.
There was... the big screen. Well, at the opening, there was we opened to the execution of Marie Antoinette. I thought that scene randomly was effectively done. The build up and the tension to her having to like rest her head and then kind of like
I love that.
Like, God, how terrifying would that fucking be? Like,
I got that feeling too. Yeah.
But like, see, that's what I mean. Is like you don't get that the rest of the movie. Yeah,
we should have been the first act. Should have been us afraid of Robespierre. It should have been all of us scared of Robespierre out of our mind. This monster, this psycho, this freak. So that when Napoleon comes in, you're like, oh, I guess he's not that much of a psycho. But we can see what a real psycho terror looks like. The French who live under a psycho terror under Napoleon. Those movies have been made. There's a movie called Danton, I think. With yeah, exactly. I love it. It's like the Netflix noise. He was executed by Robespierre, and it's about that. It's about like the terror. Gosh, I think it's. Well, I don't want to get the actor's name wrong. I think it's Gerard Depardieu, but I don't know. I could just say that for a French actor.
Yeah,
but it's a really good movie about the terror. And it feels damn horrifying. Like what it would be. You can be pulled out of your bed like at any moment. You know, they could just kill you on any charge they wanted. I think that should have been the first act, so that we could have felt like what Marie Antoinette felt.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah. And Napoleon kind of felt that too. He was young at the time, but that's the idea is that no one knew if you were going to make it to the next year. It was a coin toss. I think that would have been effective.
I mean, you could have every act really own its own little theme and then kind of play off of each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like Terror could have been a horror movie. You could then like a sweeping and kind of like toxic romance, and then end it with Waterloo or whatever. Like a war.
Like let Waterloo be 30 minutes or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be really interesting.
Well, I wonder what like this romantic rise out of the terror. So you have a theme of terror in Act 1, and theme 2, you have the rise of romanticism of his ambition. And then that's kind of everything soothing and beautiful. He has a relationship with his army people, with whatever. And then the third act, his ambition takes him too far. And then here we go. But you know what? He wouldn't have gotten where he gotten if it wasn't for that ambition in the first place. You know? So it just like a natural order of things. But having those 3 acts would complement each other, from terror to romantic rise to then like overly ambition. I would love to see that. You know?
I know.
This kind is like
Ridley Scott. Do it again.
Do it again, but get it right.
Well, I guess we'll see in the 4-hour cut, but
True.
We'll come back. True. We'll come back. We'll do another review of the 4-hour cut. I know we have to do the ranking still. Is there more closing thoughts you want to have on the movie? Or
I will say just like overall from the marketing to the interviews and whatever like that I read leading into it, and then what I knew, it just kind of it met my expectations as far as just what I expect from Ridley Scott these days. I always hope for better. Every day is Christmas kind of thing. Like maybe like this could have been his next Gladiator or Kingdom of Heaven, and
it comes out next year.
And he's always had like a knack for historical epics. So, I was holding out hope, but sadly, yes, it underwhelmed. And the battles had me like shaking my head like an old man the whole time. I was just like, this isn't great. This isn't great.
My notes were very angry.
So anyway, but overall,
I just had a couple notes I wrote here. One I wrote down was that he feels like a Succession child, like a Roy. Like they act like he's like petulant and stuffy and doesn't really deserve the promotions he's getting. And like he just expects it because like his daddy's the CEO. I was like, this guy would have fit in well in Succession when the real Napoleon would have crushed all those Roy children. Also, I said this would have worked as a musical, kind of a tongue in cheek, but I would have accepted all the nonsense if they had broken out in a song every like 20 minutes. I'd have been like, oh yeah, that's why it's so ridiculous. That's why he's so dour, and I would have accepted it more. The slapstick Brumaire stuff. I'm going to send Louis. I'm going to send you a clip from there's a good Napoleon show from like 2002 or something. I don't know, Ed, if you've ever seen it. It's actually French. I'll send it to the group chat. But it's a 4 episode. Each one's like an hour and a half long. These episodes. And there's 4 episodes. They have Brumaire in it, and I'll show it to you. It's more epic in scale. Like the room's bigger, the outside's bigger. They show the full army. They ride up. They show like how they were taking the capital. It's a coup.
Yeah.
And so it's so much more epic. And you see, you get to see how in charge of. Like Ed was saying, we don't know if it's going to happen right, but the decisions they make are pushing full forward towards a coup. And if they do it right, they have greater success. And you see that better in the show. It takes longer. It's more serious. It's more dangerous. You're more afraid that one of them's going to die. I'll send you a clip because it's...
Which it was. It was very close. It was very close. Close to failing. Like
yes, very close to failing.
They're on the brink. So like and there was a period, and they don't cover it in here, at least not in this cut, but like Napoleon went to prison for a while too. Like even after, he had some great successes, but that's just that was the temperament of Paris and France. Like just at the time, like you could be on top, and then all of a sudden just 1 foot wrong, and then they're blaming you for everything, and then they're throwing you in jail, and then you're up for execution or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there was that shot where like a bunch of people came out of jail running, and I was like, what are those people doing?
Yeah, it's just the end of the terror. Yeah, it's just
the end of the terror. People being released, but
that's what I mean. That's like a very musical scene.
It was so tonally confusing because like they had some like modern music thrown in there every now and again, but not a lot. Fuck me. Now I'm getting angry again. I just remembered. One bit that really.
What the hell?
There were two scenes between him and Josephine where it included music from Pride and Prejudice, the 2005 Joe Wright film. I was just like, are you fucking... Could you not get a composer for this film? We're talking about the guy who had Hans Zimmer do the score for Gladiator, Vangelis for Blade Runner, and he couldn't get a fucking composer to make an original score for Napoleon.
It's like he wanted to make a comedy.
And that's fine, but lean into it.
If it's a comedy, right. Yeah. And there were times I was like, just let it be a comedy. Doesn't Wellington... Okay, correct me if I'm wrong. Ed, Louis, at the end, when Wellington goes into the ship, the ship boatswain is like, watch your head, and then Wellington hits his head on the door. Does that happen? That's when I was like, no, that can't have possibly have happened.
I don't think they met in person.
No, not in real life. I mean, in the movie. Yeah. No, they didn't meet in real life. I mean, the movie, at the end, when Wellington meets him, he walks in and hits his in the movie. Does that happen, or am I dreaming that?
I don't remember that, actually. But
that'd be hilarious. It's like a donk, like a comedy. Yeah. Watch your head, donk. And I was like, oh, it's a sitcom. Yeah, like Ridley Scott's writing a comedy. He thinks he's hilarious.
Yeah.
He's like,
that's all I have. He's just like snickering at the side.
These great men who are better than I'll ever be. Gotcha.
Well, check out Napoleon now in theaters. Great movie. Okay. 10 out of 10. 10
out of 10.
We don't know when there's going to be a 4-hour cut coming. I actually forgot Apple TV was involved.
We'll get you a book.
Oh yeah, Napoleon the Great by Roberts.
Yep, Andy Roberts. Go get it. It's a good one.
What's Ed getting? Ed got up.
I got it in England too, just to tick off all the Brits.
Wow, look at that.
The UK price. Yeah,
$12.99.
In my head, I thought Ed was like, I don't know, like sad against the wall.
He's just depressed.
I pulled out the books and it was like, oh, here we go.
Anyway.
I thought you were going to show us a cool book to get.
I think it's actually by my bed, so I won't go grab it now.
Oh, that's good, man. Yeah,
I was trying to. No, I've got like 3 Napoleon books by my bed. Mm-hmm. I've got one Napoleon and Wellington, and then
you and Josephine both.
The one I was gonna, recommend. The one I was gonna recommend was Waterloo by Bernard Cornwell, who like. If you're just kind of like a first timer and you haven't like no knowledge of that period of history, this is
it's a very fiction, right? It's a historical fiction.
No, this
Bernard
one.
Cornwell?
No, this is really? Just pure. Yeah, he does have a fictional version of Waterloo, but this one is purely factual and it's easily accessible if you want to check it out. Nice. But yeah, it perfectly lays out the lead up to the battle, the strategy, just how armies functioned, the weapons they were using, the functions of the cavalry and the cannon and all of that shit. But anyway, yeah, would recommend. It's fascinating stuff, and the Battle of Waterloo was actually fucking great, unlike this movie. But and check out that movie from 1970. It's great.
Oh yeah, Rod Steiger, whatever. It's cool. Yeah. It's well.
I'm gonna try. I'm excited to see that and check that out. So Napoleon, we might talk about this again when there's a 4-hour cut. Who knows?
Just one last thing, I promise. This is it. I swear to God. This is a problem. I can talk about this forever. Louis, like you were saying at the end, when the fifth of the line shows up and they point their guns at Napoleon, he's just like, "Here's your emperor if you want to kill him." Yeah. Like if that hadn't been a true story, it would be unbelievable. Like it would be like, there's no way that could have possibly
occurred. At that point,
it's
like, you're just putting it in the script so that he moves forward. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, that's not.
It really happened in real life. He landed with no army. He showed up. They pointed their guns at him, and he just said, "Hey, here I am." And they were like, "Fuck it, long live the emperor."
That's when I gave up at that point.
Flag.
I was like, okay. Then I just laid down in my chair a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
That scene occurs in Waterloo, and it's so much better. You see Rod Seeger doing it. That occurs again in the movie Waterloo, and it's so much better. You get the tension and the fear and what's going on, the loyalty of his men. You can feel it just so much better.
Yeah. Oh, the Imperial Guard. They barely even mentioned the Imperial Guard.
At all, none. Yeah. The no Mamluk bodyguards. Like, I was so excited to see, like,
yeah.
Well, let's see if you can guess if Napoleon lands in our top 10. Maybe yes, maybe no. Speaking of top 10, number 1. Speaking of top 10s, it's time to rank Ridley Scott movies. He's made about 28 films here in his career. And let's see, I've seen 17 of them.
Okay.
Damn, I didn't even write down how many I'd seen. That's
I know.
question.
I was doing a little extra work. Okay, you guys know a lot about Napoleon. I know how many movies of Ridley Scott I've seen. Okay, that's the depth of my knowledge.
Hang on.
Okay.
Oh, you're counting it right now. So as they count up their movies, the ranking order is going to be Ed, Stephen, and then yes, Miguel isn't here, but Miguel did send me his top 10 to me.
I got you beat.
No, good. I'm glad you do.
How many have you seen, Louis? Sorry, how many have you seen?
17.
18. I'm
20.
Dang.
Well, yeah.
You can't watch Legend 3 times in a row and just.
Well, there's there's a director's cut of Legend, then there's the British cut of Legend, and the American cut.
Yeah, there's a director's cut.
So we're gonna have Miguel. He texted me his list, so then I will speak for him, and then I will go last because I am hosting it and I get to decide what.
I hate that. I hate that.
He's got all the power.
Do you want to go last, Ed? Actually, you can go last. Let's switch.
Yeah, let's do it.
This is your okay.
Or make Miguel go first. Make Miguel go first.
No. Miguel go first.
No. I like Miguel as a sandwich. Do you know what I'm saying? Like because Steven's gonna have to explain himself, then we'll have Miguel go, and then we'll just kind of guess why it's there, and then we'll go talk to me. You know, I like a Miguel sandwich. Here, I'm gonna go first, and then Steven, then Miguel, and then Ed. Okay, cool.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Here we go.
Number 10.
Number 10.
Number 10. My number 10 isn't a typical movie that you think of Ridley Scott. No, and it's not with the typical actor you think. Light up your fire because I got in my hand some Matchstick Men. Matchstick Men takes number 10 for me. This wacky cadoodle comedy where Nicolas Cage is just his crazy self. That's all I got to say.
Love it.
Ed.
Okay.
It's going to be Matchstick Men.
Not me. It's you then.
Oh, yeah. No, I know, but Ed has Ed's making a face, and I want to read what he said.
I haven't seen Matchstick Men, and that's one I wanted to make time for. I just didn't. So
because I want to do my number 10 now.
Okay, do your number 10.
My number 10? Matchstick Men.
No way! Are you serious?
Yes. Yeah. There it is.
Oh my God! Incredible! Incredible!
Crazy.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. It's got a twist. It's like about a con and everything. It's got a great twist I did not see coming. It caught me off guard. I was impressed. I like being wrong. You know, I like being caught by the screenwriter. I thought that the acting was well done. The tone was
performances were great between Nick Cage and his daughter. I'm not going to say anything. Okay, but his daughter.
Yeah.
It was a good little twist there at the end, and it was just kind of like it's not perfect, but it was a fun little romp of a movie, I think.
Right. It's an enjoyable afternoon movie. As we keep
listing movies, I was surprised by actually how many like quote unquote comedies he kind of does do. You know?
Yeah, right.
He's just like that is a wacky movie. Like I think
also how different the genres are.
Yeah,
his repertoire.
Yeah, it's very
weird. That's all over.
Well, because he comes from like
he's
like he comes from a place of like what's it called, like art and design. Like he was did commercials and and so you think historical, like a Blade Runner, all that stuff kind of lines up with his thing. But okay, so great, Matchstick Men, and Miguel's number top 10 is Matchstick Men.
No,
it's not. It's not.
Okay. You jerk. I was going to say,
no fucking way.
Ed's going to have to change his.
His top 10 is Prometheus.
Wow. Okay. Prometheus. That made the
I know
list.
we recently watched Prometheus, and you guys were actually talking about Prometheus.
Yeah. Miguel doesn't have any taste.
So, did you guys talk about this in the last episode? You and Miguel were talking about Prometheus and Prometheus Covenant or whatever, Alien Covenant. That was the last episode.
Oh yeah, because he did a back-to-back randomly of Prometheus, Alien Covenant, and then he watched The Martian too on a separate day. So he was just randomly on a Ridley Scott roll, and here he is not here,
not being here.
Yeah. So all right, my number 10.
Yes.
It's not a man down. It's Black Hawk Down.
Wow, number 10.
Okay. Wow, you put it at number 10. I can't wait to see your other number 9, 8, 7,
exactly.
Like you put it there.
No, well, this is the fun thing about Ridley Scott. He has had such a mostly not great career. So like I don't know, my last 3 are interchangeable. Okay. But like my approach to it was like, what do I want to revisit more? What do I have more fun with watching?
Yes.
And what appeals to me more? And Black Hawk Down is a technical achievement. Like we were talking about it, but like it is to a T, so thorough. And I like when I finally learned about the event, I was just like, damn, they really got it. And I love that the entire cast, for the most part, is British or Australian. Not hardly any American actors.
Orlando Bloom and
Orlando Bloom,
Mr. Fantastic.
Tom Hardy.
Mr. Fantastic shows up for a little bit.
Mr. Fantastic.
Ewan McGregor's in there.
You know who's in there? The dad from Modern Family.
Jason Isaacs. Is he really?
Yo, he is.
No, not that one. Not
he's
Jason,
a medic.
The Jason Isaacs is the dad in Modern Family. Okay, gotcha. I was gonna say that would have been a different show. You're right. He isn't. He's. Is he the medic? Is that what he is? Okay, yeah.
He goes. Yeah. He's like, we can't bring him out of the helicopter. So Ty Burrell. I have to do everything inside here, and he's like starts giving him
yes. Yeah. Okay, that's he's inside the helicopter. I remember. Okay, yeah. You can hear his voice so distinctly.
Well, I also feel like I'm going to get judged hard on these next few. Yeah, I said Tom Hardy.
Oh, yeah, Tom Hardy.
Sorry, I stopped paying attention.
He's the one who falls down, right? He's like, I'm out.
No, that was Orlando Bloom.
No, that's Orlando Bloom. Tom Hardy is carrying... you remember the guy who loses his hearing? He's in like Trainspotting. The guy who loses his hearing. Aren't they together? Yeah. Tom Hardy and him are together.
Yeah.
Trying to get back to the... Tom Hardy's carrying a gun.
Yeah, great British cast. Absolutely. Anyway, so Black Hawk Down.
Shit.
I like the only thing about it is that I just don't revisit it a whole lot. Like,
it's tough to revisit because
it's also like the ending is a little cheesy, but that's just really Scott for you. But no, the rest of the film is intense. It's gripping, and it's but you don't get lost in all the mayhem either. Like you have a kind of a solid understanding of what's going on, and it's one of those rare movies where like they jump back and forth between home base and the field, but like in a way that's like helpful to the audience, that they keep you like in touch and kind of like connected with what's going on. Yeah. So and he got nominated for Best Director for this one, but
it makes sense for that. Yeah.
Well done, move on.
Okay, number 9, my turn. This is a movie that I actually wasn't going to watch, and then I decided, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to watch it. I'm going to put it on my list, and I actually left room on my top 10 for Napoleon just in case. I'm like, okay, I have 9. Maybe I'll watch Napoleon and it'll fit around the top 10. It didn't. So I watched another movie and it made it in there. And my number 9 is an oldie but a goodie. It's The Duelists.
Nice.
I just saw that movie last night or 2 nights ago. So maybe it's because it's fresh in my mind, but it's on the list. Ed, did you finally see that movie? Did you see the movie?
I did, yes.
Okay.
I've never seen that movie.
And you may or may not hear about it. That was like Ridley Scott doing the Napoleonic era correctly.
Yes.
Oh.
But in a context where he's not like basing it on any historical events, but more so it's placed within that time, and it's just an endearing story.
It's basically it's like this guy's duels somebody he's not supposed to, and this other guy's like, yo, you shouldn't have done that. I'm going to bring you to jail. It's like, how dare you? I'm going to duel you. And he's like, you can't do that. And he's like, yes, I can. All right. And then they start dueling. And then throughout their years, they just duel each other. You know what I mean? And for whatever reason, they can never finish the duel. And then like in life, like 7 years later, 5 years later, they just stumble upon each other. Hey, it's you. We're going to duel now. And it's just Harvey Keitel. Harvey Keitel is in this movie. It's wild.
It is
cool. Okay, I gotta check that out.
Okay, and it's a short one. It's a shorty movie. So
like an hour.
So like 2 hours. Maybe? 2 hours.
Not even.
Not even. An hour
and 40 maybe. Yeah, that's good.
All right. Cool.
It is funny. Like sometimes he tries to slip out of a bar so he doesn't get seen, and then he's like, "Hey, it's you. Time to duel."
He's got a comedy streak, Ridley.
He's got something in there. Okay, Stephen, number 9.
My number 9 is G.I. Jane, and I picked it because I saw it when I was very young, and that's not an excuse. I'm saying I saw it, and it really made me reflect on, I don't know, this is going to sound stupid, but obviously I was young, and women as powerful, women as equal. Anything you can do, I can do. The struggle, how much more they have to struggle. These are concepts that never crossed my mind, I live in the patriarchy like a fish to water. I'd never thought about these concepts. No one had ever challenged me. I was young, and seeing that, I think, really changed my view of I guess the struggles that a woman just wanting to be equal has to go through, right? Yeah. Just wanting to be equal. So that really stuck with me. So to this day, I still really think that awakened.
It's not on my list, but I did watch G.I. Jane recently because I remember I think I remember seeing it in theaters too, and I was like, "Wow, what happened?" Yeah, I know. I must have not have been old enough to see that movie. It was like one of those things.
I don't think I was either. That's why
you don't have a babysitter, so you're just going to be watching this movie, and it's like, who is this lady? But right from the get go of that movie, it is a little comical where they're like, you need women in the army, right? Like it just like jumps in right away and like, ha, we can't have women in the army. Like it gets very like black and white, like, mustache twirling situation.
But that was why, though. I think I needed that as a kid.
And as a kid, yes. I would say in the in-between moments that happens and like her kind of rising above it, it's just like, oh, okay, there are some like kind of good moments here. And I think she does a good job in this movie.
Yeah, me too.
And also there are some like cool shots that he implements, that you just kind of
watch. I honestly haven't seen it in like a decade. And also, full disclosure, I've never seen Thelma and Louise, which is I hear it's also a go get a women movie.
Crazy,
but I've never seen it. Otherwise, that might be here instead of G.I. Jane.
All right, so G.I. Jane. Here's Miguel's number 9. Also, it's his number 9 is Robin Hood.
Robin Hood.
Miguel.
That was great. I want that to be when I get a text message.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I dragged Miguel to go see that in theaters when it came out. Him and another one of our friends at the time. Wow. So that's all that to say is like that's very interesting. But he has it on his number 9 because, as I recall, he was not a fan of that movie.
He must be a fan of most.
It's either that or he's only watched exactly 10, and this is how it's letting up.
Oh, he's only seen 9, so 10 is blank.
Yeah, I think I remember Robin Hood. I will put it in there.
He did that for the Scorsese movie. He's like, I watched the first 10 minutes of silence, so that's my number 10.
Yeah. We love you, Miguel. Finish your movies. Fuck's sake. He's a man.
That is great.
He's like, I get it. I get it after 10 minutes. I understand. He's like, I get that movie. I saw that trailer a couple times. I understand what's happening.
I never finished the trailer, but I did start the trailer.
He's a man who commits to his task. That's for sure.
We love him. We love him. We miss you, Miguel. We miss you. We can't wait for you to come.
Yes, we do. Robin Hood's also the first time I think I ever saw or remember seeing Oscar Isaac. Wasn't he Prince Richard?
Whoa, he's in that movie?
Prince John?
Prince John.
And I think I went to see it because you see his acting in the trailer, and it was really good. And I remember thinking, "Who's this guy?" You don't like it?
No,
you did. I love him swinging for the fences.
No, he does. And like in hindsight, but like when I first saw it, I was just like, "Who is this guy who thinks he's the prince?" No, but he was actually
that's the point of the character. Okay,
fun little fact: he was also in Ridley Scott's Body of Lies. He had a small role.
He really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Have you both seen that? Body of Lies?
I've seen Body of Lies, yeah, but
I haven't. But I did want to, and I heard it was bad.
It's pretty good.
It's not crazy bad.
I mean, it was on my list.
Fine.
It was on my list, but people didn't
time.
like it. Okay.
Yeah.
There was a lot of spy movies going on at that
thrillers.
time. A ton of Jason Bourne and stuff like. They were all the same movie.
Yeah,
they just love doing.
Maybe that's why,
thing.
when in comparison with those movies, it was like Pan.
It was just like a middling effort, and
but like remember it.
Leo was fine, not memorable. Russell Crowe was having fun. But like, Oscar Isaacs is he plays a buddy of Leo DiCaprio's.
What'd you say? He plays the body?
Buddy.
Oh,
friend.
I thought he played the body.
His head was CGI'd onto Oscar Isaac.
It's the body.
He was a stuntman. He was
the body of lies.
He's the body of lies.
Self-explanatory.
We've got him, sir.
CGI. Did you get the head too, though?
All along, it was the body of truth. Okay.
Jeez. Okay.
Okay, who's next?
Man, number 9.
I'm next. All right, so number 9. I watched this today, and like I said, with most Ridley Scott films, it's like picking from a barrel, the bottom of the barrel. I feel like he only has like maybe 3 or 4 great movies, but this one I watched today. It's Thelma and Louise.
It is. I should have watched it.
You know what? It was good, but I don't think it was exceptional. I think it's one of those movies that was of its time and like part of that like pop culture, you know? It's like, oh yeah, 2 women driving off into the fucking desert, and it's so great. But like, fuck me, dude, Susan Sarandon and Gina Davis's their accents bother the shit out of me.
Are they doing Southern country?
Southern, country.
Okay.
Like Arkansas. It is like watching
places they've never been.
Watching like a play, you know, and people are trying to drove me a little nuts. Gotcha. But it is, aside from like the rapey stuff, it is a fun like road trip film. Especially when they start leaning into their you know, that crime, that life of crime and stuff like that. It's also like beautifully shot. It's got a fun soundtrack. You know, you just imagine Ridley Scott at the side, just like, yeah, this is my beat. And aside from the action, but like there are some funny moments, as always, like peppered with some moments of humor. Like the guy, I forget his name, the guy who plays Gina Davis's husband. There's a scene where like Susan Sarandon is telling Gina Davis to call home and be like, if he sounds suspicious or you get a feeling that the cops are there or anything, hang up. And this guy is an asshole on like day to day, but she calls him. He's like, "Hey, Thelma," and she just hangs up. And she's like, "Yeah, the cops, he knows." It's just like, man, that's brilliant.
That's a good. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Harvey Keitel,
that one too.
Yeah, he comes back as the cop, also doing kind of like a terrible accent, but it's an interesting
character, to be honest. Like every time he pops up, it's like,
I can't wait to talk about it more. But but no, it was a good movie. It felt like it dragged a little too long. After a while, I was just like, all right, drive off a cliff already. Sorry, spoiler alert. But
women, drive off a cliff already.
Drive off a cliff already.
And we're canceled.
Well, it's been fun. Miguel's like, this is why I didn't come on the episode.
Okay, that was number 9.
Well, yeah, I think I would have put Thelma and Louise there if I had seen it. I think.
Tune in.
My number 8
to win my number 9, where mine pops in. Okay, my number 8. Oh man, okay, my number 8. Obviously, my number 9 was the Duelists, and they were dueling all the time. But here, my number 8, they're not dueling all the time because it's the last duel. A movie that took me by surprise. And when it started off, when I started watching this movie, I was like, I am not into this movie. And what is happening? Where are we going? What? We just got to this point. Like, what is going on? Let's flush it out a bit. Little did I know, we're telling the story in 3 different perspectives. And as I kept watching it, it kept building. And I was like, okay. So when it got to the final act, I was here for it. Ed, you watched The Last Duel, and you were speaking highly about it. So I was like, I'm going to give it a chance. And I
think it's one of his better, if not the best movie of his in the last decade, for sure, at least.
And I like that actress, too. She's in The Killing.
Jodie Comer. Fun.
The Killing of... What's
Jodie Comer, yeah.
Jodie Comer. But she's...
Killing Eve.
Killing Eve?
Yeah. She was originally supposed to be Josephine. Yeah. And then she had to back out for scheduling conflicts.
She read the script.
Yeah.
She would have been.
She would have been an interesting Josephine, though, for sure. Not that Vanessa Kirby was bad, but she would have been an interesting one. Anyway, so fun fact there, Louise, The Last Duel. Yeah,
Last Duel. Never saw that one either. Yeah, I haven't seen a lot of his films.
You should. I think you would like The Last Duel.
Okay, I'm a pretty simple man. I see Ben Affleck. I go the other direction.
It did deter me a little bit, but he
with Ben Affleck.
Best roles.
Wow. Oh, okay.
Ben Affleck has had this weird thing where, like, on 2 occasions, including The Last Duel, the other being Shakespeare in Love, where he's just played like a period character from
Which
England.
You wouldn't expect him to do.
No,
like, when you think Ben Affleck, you don't think period character.
He does it with such commitment. You love it. It's great. You can tell he's just enjoying himself. So definitely check it out for Ben Affleck.
Right.
Ben Affleck.
Weird. Check it out for Ben Affleck. And Adam Driver's in it too.
I was going to say Adam Driver. That's the polarization. Because Adam Driver, I see Adam Driver, I go. I see Ben Affleck.
Matt Damon's good too. Matt Damon's good too.
Yeah, Matt Damon is good. He's good, but I don't care. He's never going to get me to him. Like, I still have not seen Oppenheimer, and a lot of it was the cast. I was just like, shut up. Like, Matt Damon.
Shut up.
Robert Downey Jr. I was like, I'm not doing this.
Oh, come on. You're not against Robert Downey Jr.
Fine. I'm not talking about the talent. I'm just like, I don't want to see let me guess. They went to lunch and they were like, hey, let's do something together. He wasn't like, let me get some great actors. He was just like, hey, let me call up a buddy. That's how I saw Ben Affleck and Matt Damon in a movie. I was like,
he's got some of the best actors there. I don't know. You need to watch what
the best actors in. Florence Poe is great. Who is Pugh is great. Who's plays Oppenheimer? He's great.
Cillian Murphy.
Emily Blunt. I also don't care about Emily Blunt ever. I don't
like Emily Blunt. That's crazy.
She was Mary Poppins, right? Yeah, no.
Oh, well, okay. Maybe they'll judge her on that.
I'm trying to think of anything I've ever seen Emily Blunt in.
She was good as Mary Poppins, too. She was.
You would.
She was
British, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not watching that. Yeah, no. That's what I mean. It's always something I'm like, I'm not watching that. I'm not wasting time on that.
Oh, my God.
I can't do it. So, Oppenheimer, I was like, I'm good. I don't even care about his life. I'm not going to do the whole thing. I'm not just. The cast of Last Duel, I was like, I don't want to touch another. No. I don't want to touch a Matt Damon, Ben Affleck piece.
But Adam Driver and Jodie.
But Adam Driver and Jodie Comer. Now you're talking. Now I'm going.
I'll do an Adam Driver, Jodie Comer cut
serious.
for you. Do you know what I'm saying? Just 100% pure cut Driver and Comer. All you see. You know what I mean? Every scene. It won't make sense, but it's a good time.
But I'm here for the acting. Yeah, I wanted to see that good acting. What number are we on? Number 8.
Number 8 on you.
I have Hannibal, and I have Hannibal for a reason here.
Okay.
Why would
I have Hannibal? Well, Well, now that I say it out loud, I realize I don't have a reason for it. No, I'm kidding. The Hannibal verse I like a lot. Like there was the show Hannibal. The Hannibal verse. Yeah. It's the books like Red Dragon are really, really good. It's like Thomas Harris. They're very terrifying. It's not just Silence of the Lambs. There's also the movie Red Dragon, I think, with Edward Norton. And I really get a kick out of Hannibal and how he's written and how he's created. Because you're not in just a world where there's a psycho slasher. You're in a world where there's like psycho people. And Hannibal was the one that brought in like several different psychos. There's the one that Hannibal feeds the pigs. It's like he's in like a couple of books. He's in the show too. The show's really, really, really good.
That's what I hear.
They fell off. Yeah, they fell off like after the third season. They couldn't pull the trigger on anything, so it just kept lingering on and on. Yeah, but Hannibal is a fascinating character because he's not just evil. I mean, he is evil, but he's not just evil. He's very smart and And in Hannibal, we saw that. I think it was the one where they recast Clarice. It's Julianne Moore and everything.
Yes, another redhead.
She does her best. Yeah. I love Julianne. I
agree. I liked her. I thought she was good. The recasting was fine. I didn't care. I just really liked it. It really gave this sense of horror without being just slasher horror. There's
I've never seen Hannibal, so it's just like I haven't.
It's fun.
I was pretty. It is really fun. Enjoy it. It's fun. In hindsight, I was probably like putting together this list. I was probably too harsh on it. It's not on my list. Spoiler alert.
I know what you mean. I wasn't going to be on my list, and then I thought I enjoyed it both times I saw it.
Yeah, like
and I love Hannibal.
My mentality about that is probably just comparing that to Silence of the Lambs.
Silence of the Lambs
isn't fair. Yeah. It's not fair.
It's not fair.
But
yeah,
like you said, it is fun and it leans into that character. And it has a really fun performance from Gary Oldman too.
Yes, that's what his character. I can't remember his character's name, but that's why he's all like disfigured and stuff.
Yeah,
feeds him slowly.
There's an explosion in that movie, right?
I think so, because he fakes his own death at one point. Hannibal at the end. It's the one with Ray Liotta. They cut open Ray Liotta's head and cutting the guy open and then hanging him in Venice, or whatever, and his guts. The violence is just psycho.
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
No, that's Red Dragon.
Yeah, that's Red Dragon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what he finds.
They're all very. The violence is never just like for shits and giggles. It's usually because these people want to inflict pain and suffering. Like they're trying to say something like crimes. Which I like it. I like
Miguel's number 8.
It's 11 o'clock, so I'm going to keep this moving.
Okay, good.
Okay, good. Please do.
Number 8 stars one of Steven's most favorite actors, Matt Damon, in The Martian.
The Martian.
Wow,
just to be clear.
I agree. Well, just for Miguel anyway. I thought he
was talking about it yesterday.
I did too. I was kind of surprised how low it was as well. I thought it would be a little bit higher. Okay. Right. Ed.
All right, you guys are going to hate it, but I don't give a fuck.
A good summer.
A good year.
A good year. God,
I haven't seen A Good Year either.
Me neither.
Okay, Ed, you're the only one who's seen it.
This was in the aftermath of Kingdom of Heaven, I think, maybe it was right before. No, it was after Kingdom of Heaven, and it was just like,
is it really a good year? Is it? It's a good year?
It was a good year.
Oh wow, I was just joking. Okay, cool.
It's one of those charming, funny movies where like you felt like it was the in between from his big projects. But it was also something he felt passionately about, like France. And I think deep down, Ridley Scott does love France. He keeps making movies about France. And he clearly loves wine. This was like my introduction to Marion Cotillard, who's a goddess.
She's in that? Wow, cool.
Yeah, she's the love interest. The only person I don't like in it is Abby Cornish. And I'm super glad her career didn't really take off.
Damn.
It's just a fun rum. Oh, and Albert Finney is in it. He's great too. It's just like a fun romp in wine country in France, which sounds like such a cliche, but I enjoy it. And it's just like one of those, like with Matchstick Men and other movies, it just feels like one of those lighter side of Ridley Scott's where he's not taking it so seriously, and it's just kind of like a nice road trip movie almost. And there's like a certain affection and sentimentality to the place and the characters. So, it's just one of his more gentle movies that I have a soft spot for, and I watch it every now and again, and I don't mind it.
I'll check. I saw that. That sold me. I'll watch that before I watch it.
Should I watch it for Valentine's Day? Is it like a Valentine's Day movie?
Ooh, yeah. It is like a fun little date movie, though. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like it could be, and it's short too. But yeah, it's just understated. So not that short.
I know what you guys do now.
Understated.
I know what you guys do now.
But I just enjoy it for what it is. Is it a great movie? No, but it's fun. So yeah.
Abby Cornish, I just Googled her, and the first thing it says is Cornish is a rapper, singer, and songwriter. She has been rapping under the name MC Dusk since 2000 and was part of Australian hip-hop group Blades.
I am sending this episode to her, and I hope she writes the meanest diss track and just rips him apart.
Do it. I bet her rapping is as bad as her acting. Yeah.
Ooh, you got. Bring it, MC Dusk. What?
Yeah, MC Dusk. God. Yeah.
You've been called out.
If I was as talentless as her, I would have backup.
Oh my God, Ed.
See, if I railed on Ben Affleck like this, y'all would be defending him.
Because he's an Academy Award winner,
And that's why, exactly. If he gets handed something, then you like him. But if it doesn't matter if he's talented or not.
Listen,
he was best friends with Harvey Weinstein, so he gets respect now.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I'm not watching Air for sure.
Hell no. Never. I'm serious. I see Ben Affleck go the other direction. Like, if Ben Affleck was a Napoleon, you would have to be telling me what the movie is. I'm not doing that.
Can you imagine?
I'm not wasting time with that.
I wouldn't have gone near this movie if Ben Affleck was... oh, man.
Unless it was a comedy. You know what? You're like Gone Girl. Okay, I'm done. Okay. Number 7.
Here we go. Number 7. Oh, yeah, you're right. Number 7. My number 7, you know what? I like Kingdom of Heaven. Kingdom of Heaven is my number 7. I know we got Orlando Bloom over here acting it up. But when we get to the third act and he's ripping it with his sword, I'm having a good time. You know, he's learned how to fight. That one scene, they teach him how to fight. He's like, I'm going to teach you how to fight. Raise your sword high, and that's how you win. And then he does it in every scene for all of eternity. Do you know what I mean? Up until the end, that's how he wins the war, is by raising his sword high. No, I think that there's like a nice build up. Like, he has this relationship with the, what's it called? The Edward Norton character, who is like the king of the... that area. There is some nice conflict between, you know, obviously the Christianities and the you know,
Saladin.
Yes.
King of Kings.
It's a nice conflict, and then when he passes away, something comes up too. The son also inherits the leprosy as well. Like, there are all these like little like story elements that builds on each other with conflict that I'm like, okay, I'm enjoying it, and you're just kind of experiencing it through Orlando Bloom as he's just kind of going through it. And he does become a savior at the end, but it's just like, you know what, maybe that's a fun ride.
And we're talking about the
director's cut.
Director's cut.
All of these I'm talking director's cut.
Yeah. If people are screaming at us saying like Kingdom of Heaven sucked, go check out the director's cut.
MC Dusk is awesome. Yeah.
Check out the MC Dusk cut.
I would live that down.
Okay, so I'll move it along because Ed has to go sleepy.
Okay. Number 7. Yeah. My number 7 is The Martian. I'll do quick. The only thing I didn't like about it, I would have ranked it higher if I was not a fan of this monster cast. Actually, no. All I wanted was Matt Damon and then maybe him, like him talking like HQ maybe a few times something. But then there was too like Childish Gambino was in it. It just, to me, again, it smelled like Hollywood. Like, they're just like, who wants a paycheck? And they had way too many characters. I didn't care about any of them, but I really cared about Matt Damon. Every time they cut away, I just wanted to fast forward. So that's why it's that low.
Did you watch Ted Lasso, Stephen?
Yes, I did. I love Ted Lasso.
What's it called? The guy, the assistant coach who then coaches the rival team. What's
Nate?
His name?
Yeah, Nate the Great.
Nate is in The Martian for like a second.
Wow.
Yeah,
for a second.
So interesting.
With an American accent. Yeah. It is peppered with the most random people. Like, I forgot Sean Bean was
Kristen Wiig.
Kristen Wiig. Yeah, I forgot about her.
There's many people need to be in this movie.
Chiwetel Ejiofor and
Wong from
Wong,
Doctor Strange. Yeah.
Okay,
too
Miguel's. What are we on now? Sorry,
7.
Okay. Don't go up, go down with Black Hawk Down. That's his number 7.
Okay.
Black Hawk Down. Okay, cool. If he was here, he'd talk about it, but we appreciate you.
Oh no,
he's not, so we go faster.
Go ahead.
Right. My number 7. It's also The Martian.
There you go.
I nailed it.
Yeah. So I won't talk about it too much, but like Matt Damon carries this movie, and
he's awesome.
He makes it accessible for the audience, and he's charming. He's funny.
Yes.
And like you said, you don't really care about everything else, but
not a little.
No, it looks good, and you believe it's on Mars. So credit to Ridley Scott.
It's kind of surprisingly, Okay,
absolutely.
So,
my number 6. Also, it's a Miguel pick, Black Hawk Down.
Ooh.
I have it high up there. Look, there's some shots where he gets like obviously the helicopters fly, like it's obviously follows the Black Hawks as they like fly through the sky. Like there are some pretty cool looking shots. The way he like swings around. And they're almost like horses running through a field, except they're helicopters. And instead of working in a 2D space, you can like work an X, Y, and Z axis. And so the way he's able to swing on some of the shots is really cool. Like you said, you get an idea of like where the story's going. It's very intense. You have all these characters living their own little lives. You follow, like you dip in with each person, but you don't lose that thread with them sometimes. I was like surprised how much I kind of enjoyed the ride of this movie. I
love it.
It's just like somewhere along the line, like around 2010, he just lost his knack for visually appealing films. Black Hawk Down, The Duelists.
It was
Thelma and
there's
Louise,
a lot of dynamic happening.
Each one had their own kind of like unique look to them. Gladiator, of course, and Kingdom of Heaven. But fuck, they just look so boring now, his films, when they come out. Anyway, sorry, I digress.
No, that's good.
No,
What number are we on?
Number 6.
6. Oh, I wrote down Nutty Professor 2, The Clumps. I think I was trying to be funny.
Hilarious.
Thank you. My actual answer is Kingdom of Heaven, because I actually like the historical accuracy. There's a lot of stuff that's like at the end with Balon and Saladin. That's literally the conversation that happened. Like these are recorded. Uh-huh. So it's really incredible. I had read this Saladin book before I saw the movie. And so my biggest bummer was that he's only in three, and it felt like the Napoleon, 3 scenes. And it felt like the Napoleon movie insofar as that's a great movie. This is, what the hell? I don't care at all. Are you in love with Ava Green? I don't care. If we followed Saladin, we would be getting this epic, awesome tale of success and victory. And instead we just follow Balin because I think it's a white guy for white audiences. So to me, it just felt
Saladin, he comes off as grander and bigger than life and powerful and stronger. So because he's not in every scene, he seems more. He has a bigger.
It's a good point.
He's
more epic and more like Vader.
Exactly. Yeah.
But they play him with such respect.
Respect.
Yes.
At the end, he picks up he puts the crucifix back on the altar when they take Jerusalem. This is true. He really was that way, and he tells him at the end, why wouldn't you slaughter him? He's like, I'm Salahuddin. He really was a man of honor.
I'm not those men.
I'm not those men.
Yeah.
And he was that way.
And all the Christian knights, the Templars and all of that, they're portrayed as villains in this film.
Oh, absolutely.
And so I like that contrast, and it's a nice touch. Credit to that actor. I don't have his name in front of me, but I thought he was really effective.
Yeah. The story is, I
want that movie.
Obviously how grand and epic he is, but the story is about Orlando Bloom getting over his wife's suicide. You know what I mean? And how can you process that, and maybe if I become this amazing person, I can kind of save her soul. And then he realizes, oh, these people are just all hypocrites. This is stupid.
Yeah.
And then he just
the death of his kid too.
Yeah. Right.
Reeling from that. But
okay.
Yeah.
Number 6 for Miguel is Blade Runner.
Wow.
All right, Ed.
What the Ed? Huh.
No,
You've left
tell us
everyone
what you
speechless.
thought about that, Miguel. Yeah.
Yeah, Miguel, come on.
All right, number 6. Number 6. We mentioned it earlier. It's the best film he's done in 10 years. It's The Last Duel. I do like it. It's not like a fucking laugh riot. It's not. But I think the ensemble is good. Like you said, Luis, it was kind of surprising just how they approached the story and how effective it was, especially when it comes to the end and we're getting it from Jodie Comer's perspective.
Yes.
And
scenes are shot just a little bit different. And performances are a little bit different. So you get like Adam Driver's point of view, and she acts differently than when we go to Jodie's portion. And he
does the verbiage. Like in certain scenes, the verbiage is different. It's just
he's
so
viewing this incident
nuanced.
in a certain way, but then you see it from hers, who's is like the real truth, and you realize, oh, he's just fooling himself into thinking that she, wanted it.
And the duel is worth the hype. Like when they finally get there, it's rough, but it's not like unbelievable. It's like these guys do get tired after swinging a heavy sword around.
Okay.
They're actually getting beaten up, and you're just like,
maybe you are convincing me. I like both of those things.
You are wondering what's going to happen.
The Kagemusha effect and the difficult dueling. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
All the while, like she's just waiting to see if she's going to be burned on the pyre or not, which is insane. It's just fucking moments like that. Ridley Scott sells them, but The Last Duel is my number 6.
Okay, all right, we're hitting our top 5s now. Now this is a movie. Listen, I saw it in theaters, and then it won an award, and I was shitting on it a lot, but I watched it recently, and you know what? I have to give it to it. I did have a good time watching it. I'm going to give it to The Martian. I give it a lot of shit for winning Best Comedy in the Golden Globe.
It did?
Yeah, he won Best Comedy.
I would have been shitting on it.
And I rewatched it thinking, all right, I'm ready to hate this movie again. And then, you know what? It's charisma won me over, and I did have an enjoyable time. So it's an easier watch than like Black Hawk Down or all these like terrible people dying movie. But I was like, okay, you know what? It is an easy put it on the background little watch, and
it has like creative ways of storytelling too. Just
it does
how they interact from Mars to Earth and stuff like that.
That is a cool moment. Exactly.
Yeah, that's
fun. That's fun.
Yeah,
they're like
how they can solve that.
Message.
It's like, well, he can only answer in yes or no questions, and then he creates like the alphabet, and then they find a way to connect, and then they're able to expand on that communication. It's cool. So,
I agree. That's fun. Apparently the book is good. I've never read it, but apparently the book is like
and it's like not a long book I hear either.
That's what I've heard too. I've heard it's very easy to read. So,
cool.
We go 5?
5, yeah.
Miguel's 5.
No, you're 5.
Oh, my 5. Oh, my 5 is Black Hawk Down. Black Hawk Down was my favorite war film for like ever. I can't something replaced it, but I can't remember what.
Dude, I'm so happy you said that because I was nervous about saying it, like. I was telling them earlier about war movies, like it's not entirely my jam, and we watched it, Ryan, I liked it, and then I watched Black Hawk Down. I was like, I really like this movie. Like, it might be one of my favorite war movies and favorite, And I was thinking about switching it with The Martian, and so it makes me feel good about it being in this position.
I love it. It was so real and hectic.
It jumped up and down my list. I haven't seen it in a long time, and I just didn't have time to squeeze it in this time. But no, it's a solid film. Like I
recently saw it again, and I saw it with a friend, and she was seeing like things I'd never seen, and I was like, dang, I can't believe I never picked up on it. So like characters like that's the same one who, dang, and I was like, this is smart, like this is deep. I can't believe I never picked up on that. It was a great point. So I just recently saw it, and it's all held up.
Makes me weep for a Scott we don't have anymore.
Pretty good. Okay,
Miguel's number 5 here.
He's going to be MC something soon.
Steven's going to love this pick because Miguel's number 5 is Hannibal.
Hey, all right, you put it up high. I do love that pick. Hannibal gets too much hate because it can feel campy. But
I don't hate it. I just
not just you. I know what you mean. I just mean in general, because I do too. I make the same mistake of wanting to like throw it away, but I enjoyed it when I saw it when I was young, and I enjoyed it when I saw it when I was older.
Yeah, I'm glad to go a shout. All right.
Cool. All right, Ed, what you got? Number five.
Number five. I watched this yesterday for the first time. And I was smitten with it. The Duelist.
Yeah.
It just shows. It just
I gotta
shows.
See this.
This is like Ridley Scott at his best and at his earliest, working on a minimal budget. So he shot it all on real locations. Like Harvey Keitel is great as the hothead hussar, and what is it, Keith Carradine?
Yeah,
I looked it up.
That's the right. Okay, Keith Carradine. He's good, but no, it was a movie that didn't have to be lost on like a grander message. It's just. How these men became intertwined for the rest of their lives, based off of this bullshit honor, and somehow Harvey Keitel being insulted by this guy following orders to come and take him to his superiors.
Yeah, he was just
and it drives you crazy throughout the whole movie. You're just like, dude, chill out. Yeah. But it leads to some really great sequences, and they do a good job between each duel, switching it up ever so slightly. Like the first fight taking place with kind of specifically dueling swords or rapiers, and then the next sword fight is sabers, like cavalry sabers. Next one is on horseback, and the final one is on pistols. You know, it's just they keep it interesting, but without making it feel forced. And again, short and sweet.
Does it hold up in the end? Like in the third act of the end of the movie, I think
so.
A good ending.
I like how it ends, and the cinematography is beautiful. It's really good. And Harvey Keitel just works so well in it. But yeah, they've got those famous cavalry haircuts, and their haircuts change over time, like with the military fashion. Nice. It's just like, again, those details that
he could pay attention.
He could pay attention. Okay. That's the thing. It's so infuriating. But yeah, no, it's a gorgeous looking film, and I just loved its precision. It's to the point. No fat. I liked it a lot. I was really taken with it. So
Harvey Keitel should have been in the Napoleon movie as this character from the Duelist.
Maybe
fun.
just like showing
a 5
second.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, because he was a huge. He loved Napoleon. He was like known to be a Bonapartist.
Yeah.
A Bonapartist. Yeah. All right, good. So 4.
My number 4. It's already been mentioned, and it has to do with the dynamic duo known as Thelma and Louise. I have it.
Wow,
here.
4.
I know. I do have it here pretty high up. I know when it was like number 9, I was like, oh no, I have it a lot higher.
That's okay. This was my first time seeing it. Was it yours?
Yes, but I did still have a good time with it. I don't know. I think The Martian was a cozy, comfy time, but I felt like here there were some little bit more themes at play. And again, it's like the G.I. Jane situation where it's like, oh yeah, women have it pretty hard. Like they can just get raped at any moment, and then they have to they did things out of response of that. And then their lives just kind of become a whirlwind, consequence of a consequence of a consequence. And so,
also one of the themes in The Last Duel, by the way, Stephen. So,
yes.
Nice. The women having to, especially in medieval times.
So if you're into that kind of stuff, disrespecting
that's
of women,
good. Okay.
You're gonna love Last Duel as well.
All right.
No,
thanks for saying that I'm into the disrespecting of women. I like having that quote out there.
No, this is great. And then even like Harvey Keitel's the character. He shows up in this movie too. He's like kind of like sticking up for them, and he's trying to like quote unquote save them while everybody else is trying to hunt them down. And there's like a bunch of funny scenes. And I also read that scene that there's a sex scene between Louise and Brad Pitt, and in a way for him to deal with that shoot, he used multiple cameras, and he was like, "Oh, I like this, maneuver tactic to use multiple cameras." And from at that point, he started using multiple cameras for a lot of stuff. because he didn't want it to be uncomfortable for them to reshoot this like sex scene over and over and over again. So he set up a few,
That makes sense.
A movie he wasn't supposed to direct either. They were shopping it around, and then he ended up in his hand, and he directed it. Similar to The Martian. It does
seem like an odd choice for him.
Yeah,
like this movie set in South America.
He was trying to find somebody, but they couldn't. He didn't like anybody who was doing it, and at some point, he's like, "Fuck it, I'll do it." Like I'm the only one who kind of understands the assignment, and he did it. And same thing with The Martian. Like the guy who did the Daredevil TV show, he was supposed to direct it, and then due to scheduling, because of Daredevil, he couldn't direct it anymore. So then Ridley Scott came in, and so I just think it's interesting when he kind of like swoops into quote unquote save.
Yeah.
Okay.
Number 4.
Steven, yeah.
American Gangster. This is my American Gangster.
Yeah.
Denzel. I love a good crime genre. It's like I love it. I like it whether it's goofy or over the top, like it's Tarantino or Goodfellas or something, like with the narration over it.
Yeah.
But I also like it was very, very serious. And this was so serious. And so the stakes were just so high while dealing with a very real historical element of Frank Lucas and all the heroin that came in Harlem from Vietnam. And I loved how the feds couldn't figure it out, mainly because they didn't expect a black man to be in charge of the
that was
mob.
crazy. Again,
the racism actually worked to protect him, which was fascinating. My favorite part about this movie isn't just Denzel, but he has this restrained rage where he'll be in a scene being very calm, very natural, but then some tiny little thing can just tick him off and he will just explode. Like at the end, he's being interrogated and he's describing his cousins getting lynched essentially by the cops at like 9 years old, and he smacks the water away. And I love those little moments where he gets.
Oh, he's great.
This is alpaca. You block that shit.
Yeah.
when I think I remember when that came out, the woman who plays his mom, she got nominated for an Oscar.
She did. Ruby Dee.
Okay.
There you go. And it was so good because I loved her. Even your brothers know you don't kill a cop. Even I know that.
Yes,
I love that speech where she's trying to convince him this is what stop. She slaps him. I love the rhythm and the feeling of those scenes so much. I love the scenes in this movie. Just even if it was just one scene.
It's one of his, I feel like it's one of his more underrated movies. And that came out in a year that was stacked.
It was like 7 or something, right? 6 or 7?
2007, one of the best years in Oscar history. That was the year There Will Be Blood.
No Country.
No Country, Michael Clayton, Atonement.
He's just...
But no, it's a solid film, and especially after like the success of The Departed, this was its own flavor of the crime story. So but yes, I agree with everything you said, Stephen. It's great.
I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. So that's my number 4.
All right.
Miguel?
No, Ed.
Miguel.
Wait, Ed? Miguel
you're right.
4?
Miguel.
I don't have a number 4.
Okay.
It's Miguel. Okay. Right? Is that correct?
Yeah. Well, his blank on this chart.
Okay. Number 4 is for him a Russell Crowe movie. It is Gladiator.
Wow, very low.
All right.
I'm so intrigued by Miguel's 1, 2, and 3. I mean, I think we all know what our 1, 2, and 3s are going to be because there's like obvious movies that we haven't gotten into.
Yeah.
But Miguel has crossed a couple.
You're not gonna guess this next one. I'm going to tell you that right now. You will not know. Okay.
All right.
Ed, what is your number 4?
Number 4, Kingdom of Heaven, the director's cut.
Wow, look at that. Look at him go. Look at us go. We are doing good.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll bet y'all's number 1s are the same, but mine is not for any real reason. Just I have a feeling I'm gonna be on it.
Not
for any real reason. I just everyone seems to go in one direction. Okay, go.
No, we've talked enough about this
bets.
movie, but I do like the director's cut was like a revelation, and it's visually stunning. The Siege of Jerusalem is visually harrowing. It's great.
It is pretty cool.
And they used that set for Game of Thrones and other epics like throughout time. And yeah, it's just great. Oh, and the behind the scene, I have the director's cut on DVD. Massive pack, amazing behind the scenes stuff, like start to finish, from like the table reading to the set designing and stuff like that. The details where like one of the siege towers caught fire overnight on set, and so they just like left it there because it looked cool.
Yeah.
Like it was, and then they built Jerusalem to where if they filmed it on the other side, it was the other castle. But I'm blanking on Carrick. Thank you. That played as the other side, so they
that's so smart.
But yeah, so it's still out there, and they still use it for other sets. But yeah, man, aside from Orlando Bloom, the ensemble is great. Edward Norton, great cast. Edward Norton's great. Like you were saying, Stephen, like you don't need the love story, but you know that's Hollywood. And Eva Green is good for what it's worth, I think. And like the whole story with her son and everything. But yeah, no, I do enjoy Kingdom of Heaven, and it's another one of his more underappreciated films, especially because there's a director's cut out there that doesn't get the recognition. But
it's so accurate. I love like everything going down with like, which one did he kill? Raymond de Chatillon? I can't remember. He cuts his head off at the end. Like literally that's like line by line what the conversation was. It's down great. To I didn't offer you water. That's on purpose. Like that's just straight out of the history books, line by line. It was so cool. I love it.
You mentioned a book about Saladin.
Yes.
What was the name of it? Let me get that before I forget about it.
Absolutely. And it's short too. It's really easy to read. It's not like a complex book. I think it's called Saladin, but I think that the writer is John May. I got to check it out here. I gave it away to my nephew, so I don't have it to reference it.
Okay. I'll look.
John Mann wrote, it's called Saladin, the Life, the Man, the Legend. I don't know if you can see. I wish I could. It's like this black cover.
Ooh, yeah.
Saladin. Yeah, and it's not thick at all, and it's John Mann, and it'll go through this whole movie. Like, and I read this book before I watched the movie, so I watched it like, you got to be kidding me! Yeah, wow, they're actually having that conversation. Like it's Balin awesome. And everything, right? Yeah.
Cool. All right.
So I love that about it. So he can do it. He just didn't want to.
He can.
Yeah. Okay,
right, we on number 3.
3. Here we go. Top 3, baby. My number 3. Look, these are all going to be classics. What's my number 3 classics going to be?
Legend.
Oh no! Let me.
Has to be Tom Cruise.
Let me drink my. Let me watch the taste of that one. Okay. Well, you know, Ed,
Gucci. How's the Gucci?
Oh, it's me, Paolo. No.
I want someone to make a fake Ferrari trailer. I saw the Ferrari trailer of that. It's me. It's a Ferrari.
It's a me.
And then his brother Luigi shows.
No, Alien. My number 3 is Alien.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're going to talk about Alien. So, and I know we're running late here, and but
sir.
We all know why. I feel like these next 3 is like we all know why it's good. So
they have to be the same because we're missing these 3. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to talk about
the same 3.
Yeah. All right. So, Stephen, what's your number 3?
I'll go. Mine's Gladiator. I put for 3 for Gladiator, and we'll talk about it when we talk about it. Yeah.
Miguel. Okay. Miguel's number 3. You ready for this one?
Yes. What is it?
Okay. His number 3 is The Counselor.
No.
Can't be.
No.
Can't be.
He is trolling. Miguel, you are trolling. There's no fucking way that you gave that movie another watch. I don't believe him for a second. I'm so angry.
Does Miguel know who wrote that? Ask him if he knows who wrote that. Is that important for him, the author?
Probably not. But
I think he's just going on vibes. He saw the trailer and he was in.
I was excited for it.
Me too, because of the writer. I that's what I'm wondering. Is Miguel trying to say that the author deserves a higher ranking just because of who he is? Because I get that impulse. Okay. No. I get that impulse. Cormac McCarthy is like a god. He actually just recently passed, but he is just a freak of nature with his pen. So it was very weird that this movie was, it's his only screenplay. He wrote one movie and this was it. And it was not good.
Unfortunate.
That's just a bummer.
Because they had a great cast too. Like,
incredible.
Apart from Cameron Diaz.
Penelope Cruz.
Oh, there you go. That's
Michael Fassbender.
Can you believe
Fassbender. I love Fassbender. I love Fassbender.
Oh man, we didn't talk about it. I guess because it was Miguel's pick, but like Michael Fassbender is great in Prometheus.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
You guys talked about it last week because I wasn't here, but yeah,
you did.
The idea that it circles around him the most is great. Like, let's have the story surround him.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's something.
All right.
Ed?
It is me. 2, 3.
3.
Okay. It's American Gangster.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Whoa. Okay.
Wow, that means something's missing from Ed's list.
I know. That's what I was thinking too, Steven. I was thinking that too. Something's missing.
Okay. This is gonna be.
I know.
We didn't give him credit earlier, but Russell Crowe. I do love when Ridley Scott and Russell Crowe get together. I think they've made some pretty great movies together. But
Body of Lies.
I liked him in American Gangster. He was just kind of like this slob of an honest cop. Yeah, honest cop, but slob and sucked at his personal life. But he and then became a lawyer who ultimately got Frank Lucas out. You know, so it's a weird story. But yeah, no, I love it when Russell Crowe is in for just like scenery chewing and not all serious and stoic kind of thing. Yeah. So American Gangster. That's all I'll say about it. Let's on to 2.
Number 2.
Yeah, oh man, you're right, Steve. There's one missing in his list.
Something's missing.
I'm kind of hoping because I'm about to say my number 2. I'm hoping maybe that someone here lines up with mine, but we're gonna see. My number 2 is Blade Runner.
Okay.
No. Oh, okay.
No, sorry.
No one? Okay. No, not line up with number 2, but maybe you know what my number 1's going to be.
Yeah, I know what your number 1's going to be. It has to be. Yeah.
Now you do. No, you don't.
Yeah, because everything else is gone. That's what I'm saying. Everything else is off the list.
Okay.
My number 2 is Alien.
Okay.
Yeah.
Number 2 is Alien.
So, and your number 3 was Alien.
Okay. And then, so mine's Blade Runner. And then, Steven, what's your number 2?
Alien.
He just said it.
Oh, yeah, sorry. And then, all right. And what's your number 2?
No, what's Miguel's number 2?
I'm fucking with you. Okay.
Miguel's number 2
Miguel's number 2 is, everyone's been talking about it. It's American Gangster.
Okay.
Awesome.
He loves himself. American Gangster. We always hear him talk about it, so it makes sense.
Yeah, I'm glad because I love that movie.
Shut up about it.
I love it too.
I'm still mad at him about the counselor though. Like what?
What a troll!
Like, he is just being a dick at this point.
He liked that whole conversation where Javier Bardem was talking about Cameron Diaz like a sucker. Yeah, like a catfish mouth.
Yeah, on the windshield.
On the windshield, he was like, "Oh yeah, hell yeah."
Yeah. Oh man. Okay.
Luis, have you seen The Counselor?
You know what? I might have, but I don't remember it. I
think that's on purpose, but if you ever get a chance, watch that scene and be horrified. Okay. And number 2.
Number 2, it's Alien.
Alien. Okay,
love it.
Can we talk about Alien though?
Yes,
Can we talk about it?
Well, I was going to say the next. Okay, yeah, go ahead. Yes, yeah. Let's talk about Alien since 2 of us just called Alien.
All 3 of us. We've all 3 said it now.
Done Alien. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
And Miguel can't talk about it.
You can't talk about
I mean, what hasn't been said about Alien, but it's still great. It still holds up.
So great.
It's terrifying. The chestburster scene, iconic.
The twist with Ash.
Yeah, Ian Holm is great. And Sigourney Weaver, like, I think she became more iconic in the second one, but she's great in this one too.
Yeah, she's great.
I think the build up to that third act too, when you think that, like everything is safe and secure.
Like,
you've already gone through so many. You've already jumped so many hurdles that when you're finally here, you yourself as an audience member are like, we did it. We really fucking
we can relax.
And then you're trapped in this tiny little thing, this tiny little ship, and you're like, how are we going to get out of this mess? You know?
And so the
way they build up all the tension and all, like, you know, without the lack of technology, it did a really good job of capturing that with tension. And the thing is like, he didn't cut around. Like, now we see him cutting everywhere. And this is my biggest thing about like kind of modern filmmaking, is how we now have access to so many different angles, so many different cameras, and so many different edits that it can dilute a moment. And here you have Alien, where you are sitting with a still frame for a while, and it builds tension. You see different performers reacting to different scenarios in one frame, and you're able to cleverly move from one to the other. He didn't have the luxury of having a billion cameras, and so it allowed him to just focus in. And when I was rewatching like Prometheus and Alien Covenant, he's cutting left and right and going here and there, and it's like, wow, you know, if he was able to instill some of that stuff from Alien into those movies to create tension, that would be incredible.
Absolutely.
It's just a different type of filmmaking that we don't see a lot, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have almost lost the patience for it, because you know, watching it now, you realize just how slow it is, which is what gives it its charm. But could we do that today? Would any of our generations sit through that?
Yeah, exactly.
But also, like, fuck them. You know what I mean? If they can't sit through it, fuck them.
Right?
Like,
why not?
You know, it's just like you're already getting stimulated so many times, all these cuts and different cameras. Like, God forbid one time we do a movie where it's just shot like that. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's something to be reflected and to like emulate again. But
it would be great to get another one of those.
Alien.
And I love the Alien verse, the Alien. That's why I got excited for Prometheus, and it was good, but you know, I was kind of let down. And then I did it again. I got excited for Alien Covenant, and I was super disappointed. And I'll do it again. I know it. They'll come up with another one, and I'll go, well, maybe
he ruined it for himself. He felt like he couldn't let go of it, and that's fine. Like, the studios are gonna keep making this fucking IP.
There's already one coming out. I think either next year or the year after, for sure.
And then Noah Hawley is coming out with a series.
The Fargo guy?
Yeah, the Fargo guy is coming out with an Alien series. So that might be interesting. But yeah, it's just like it's lost its scare factor.
Yeah.
Covenant, like David, Michael Fassbender character was the one thing they had going.
Yeah, you guys talked about. I think it is interesting. I think that he did add some lore into the fact where like David is trying to create more of these, like, what are they called? The alien characters?
Xenomorphs.
I think it builds on the lore. Like, you have those big like white giants. I think there is something there lore wise that's interesting. You know, where it comes from. But it's losing its like its fear factor. But Alien, where is it on your list, Stephen? 3,
2.
We both had it as 2.
It was mine on 3.
Yeah.
I had it at 3. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
That's why I can't wait to see what Ed's 1 is. It's going to be crazy. Okay. Someone's getting snubbed. Okay. Louis, you want to start 1? The final one?
Hold on. Did we do everybody? Wait. Ed, that was your number 2.
And is Alien? Mine's Alien.
Oh, yeah.
Miguel's American Gangster. Yours is Blade Runner.
All right.
Tell us your number 1, Louis.
For me, I feel like this movie sings on a lot of levels. I think it shines it's almost like Hollywood movie. You know what I mean? I'm coming to the movies for a Hollywood experience, cinematically, the cinematography, the music, the performance, the epic scale of it all, the drama, the romance. The golden age of Hollywood in the modern era. Okay. I'm talking about
Sword and Sandal.
Gladiator. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Gladiator is going to be my number 1. You put that shit on anytime and I'm going to be sitting down and watching it. I think it builds up tension nicely. It has the Hans Zimmer score just carries it throughout like a little, you know, mama holding a baby. And I think it's, I don't know, Ed. I mean, I'm sure we're going to talk about it some more because I feel like
that's his number 1.
Yeah.
No, actually, it's the counselor. So.
Okay, Steven, what's your number? What's your number?
My number 1 is Blade Runner. Blade Runner is one of my favorite films of all time.
Okay, let's talk about it.
the philosophical, it's not just what's happening in the script. The script is great. Like I find it to be beautiful. It's Phil K. Dick's, do androids dream of electric sheep, whatever. So you've got a great premise philosophically. We're debating a fascinating concept, but that's not what it does it for me. I love sci-fi noir. I absolutely love the look. Flying through LA, it's like trashy. There's like smoke. He's like eating noodles on the visuals. This is it. Like that is like my favorite visuals
in that movie.
I love it.
It's almost like it is like a dream where you're like, wow, I didn't even know you could frame and make images like that. When you see it. Yeah.
I didn't even know if a movie like that could exist.
Yeah.
So ever since I saw it, I fell in love, and I watch it every time. The new one, the Villeneuve one, like people go crazy for the new Villeneuve. To me, it's just straightforward. Like, duh, you were handed gold, and you turn gold into gold. It's no shit. It's good. Like to me, it's like I don't praise it at all. I just go, yeah. I mean, that's Blade Runner. It's Blade. It's the universe you're in. It's glorious.
I think it's funny with the new Blade
gorgeous.
Runner. Visually, like that Blade Runner, Villeneuve, he does a lot of like silhouettes. So he'll have something dark in the foreground and light in the background, and so that's kind of his like thing. But in Blade Runner and in Gladiator and in Alien, all these things, again, he does all these dynamic like foreground, like moving one direction, the smoke where the rain's falling here, and the characters moving to the right, and in the background, something's falling. And so you have
there's like a truck comes through.
Yeah, you have three different things happening: foreground, midground, and the background, and they're all kind of complementing each other. And Blade Runner is one of those that really like brings life to just like one frame of a scene.
I've got a question for you, for both of you, if you like. What is your definitive cut of Blade Runner? Because I obviously...
Oh, that's interesting. Which one is the one that shows there's one that has the unicorn where his handler makes the unicorn for him, puts it in origami, and he puts it down. And then he has the dream of the unicorn. I don't know. That's a good question, because I was just about to say, I don't know which one I like more, knowing that he's an android or not. I don't know which one I care for. I guess I like it being up in the air. Yeah. With the unicorn, it's guaranteed. He is an android. He has, unless they got lucky, or, unless you made a unicorn for no reason, or unless it represents something else, I guess. But to me, it's definitive. They're saying, Harrison Ford is an android in that cut.
Right.
But I can't remember which cut is which.
That's the one where
I
they
don't
do
have a definitive cut.
It's the final cut and the director's cut, right? Or
I don't even know, actually. That's a good point.
The theatrical cut has him like going into the sunrise and they're having a good old time, and then the director's cut, they're like running away with the unicorn at his like
with the unicorn. Yeah. It's a little more thematic. I'm not sure which one I like better now. Again, because I don't know which I need
to revisit. I
agree.
I've only
seen watch it for the 100th time.
I think I've only seen one version. I think I've only seen the final cut, in fact. I was just curious.
Tears, all these moments will be lost like tears in the rain. That is like one of the greatest monologues. Like not even just in cinema history, but like what a great philosophical concept of existence. Again, what does it mean to exist? Can you exist if you're just a robot? I mean, what does it really mean? It's tied to memory. That's what Western philosophy seems to agree existence is memory. If you can recall memory, you have an identity. If you lose your memory, you tend to lose that identity of who you are. All we are is a collection of memories. And Roy Batty's saying, I've got them. So why the hell do I have to be put down if I exist, if I can remember? I think it's beautiful. It's something that I find it just glorious and gorgeous to look at. I love that movie. It's not just my favorite Ridley Scott. It's one of my favorite movies ever. I loved it. When I watched as a kid, it blew my mind. Yeah. Oh, yeah. My nephew's got a poster of it that I love in his room that I always, it's like, that's the one. He's got a bunch of, I love it. And did you guys ever watch the anime? Oh my gosh, I'm blanking on it now. It's a TV show, Cowboy Bebop. Did you guys see Cowboy Bebop?
Yeah, I did.
That's my favorite anime of all time. It's the same sci-fi noir. I love in space, and things are broken down. Like I watch Star Trek, but clean space kind of bores me. But dirt, like even like the Nostromo in Alien, like dirty, clogged,
clunky
space,
clunky.
Yeah, love that crap. I just cannot get enough of it. Yeah, I can't get enough. And Alien and Blade Runner, they've got it in spades. And I can't get enough of that.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's crazy that it didn't make it on your list.
It can't have made it on Ed's list at all.
Yeah,
it can't even be in the top
crazy
10.
that it didn't make it at
all. Fucking A Good Year beat it. Blade Runner. I'm gonna tell my now. I'm gonna say fucking A Good Year beat Blade Runner. What do you think?
Okay, here we go.
What they say.
I think we've done all our number ones. Oh wait, Miguel. Miguel's next.
Miguel's number one.
Okay. A movie we've actually already talked about. Come on. A movie we've already talked about. His number one is, of course, we know Miguel loves space. So his favorite movie is going to be Alien. So
nice.
Nice, Miguel.
And guess what my number one is?
Gladiator.
Da, 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 da. Yeah, it's Gladiator. Gladiator, like Stephen, you and Blade Runner.
Wait, Stephen, this wasn't on your list at all.
Number 3.
No, it was.
Oh, number 3. You're right. Sorry,
yeah.
I forgot.
Jesus Christ!
I was going to attack you.
That's Gladiator's movie. I want to dislike. My instincts are to push it away as Hollywood.
That's like
tried.
The Martian for me. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, yeah. But I can't. I mean, I can't. No, I want to push it away and I can't.
Gladiator is glorious. I love it. It's just a fine example of Hollywood filmmaking done right, and taking us back into the past of ancient Rome. You got some fucking great, iconic performances out of Russell Crowe and Joaquin Phoenix. Am I not merciful? Just like you got Richard Harris, you got Oliver Reed in his final performance.
Oh yeah, that's right. He died during it too, didn't he?
He died during it. So they had to
it or something.
Yeah, they had to repurpose him at the end. But I love him in that. He's so good. The battle sequence at the beginning is great in Germania.
Here's a debate. Unleash Hell. Do you think the dog's name is Hell? Because that's why there's like so many historical inaccuracies. He says unleash hell, but they don't have a word for hell. What do you think that is? So then people said, "Oh, it's the name of the dog." They unleash him.
Unleash him. Yeah. That's hilarious. I haven't thought about that.
Yeah, he was like a huge.
I just assumed he meant unleash Hades.
Right.
Yeah.
But God, yeah, the barbarian horde fight at the Colosseum, the first fight at the Colosseum, epic.
Dude, all of it builds the tension so well.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? It's just the way it's shot.
That 10-minute track on the album.
You think it wouldn't?
And you love Maximus so much. Like you feel so bad for him just from the first act. You're right there with him.
And that
tension.
That mic drop scene of him. My name is Maximus.
My name is
Brutus.
God, that is flawless.
Like gives you chills every time. And
every time.
Oh my God, they're gonna
the swelling.
There's no way
the
around
swelling of the orchestra, like right after that scene when he goes back into the barracks.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's so good. Chilling. It's chilling.
And he's trying to win the crowd over because obviously, he's not well loved and beloved, and the only reason he can't kill him, because he can do whatever he wants, is because the crowd deems it so. They're like, we love this guy, and so he's just like, fuck, I really want to kill him.
By the way, same reason they couldn't execute Napoleon, but you don't get that from the movie either. Why did they go to an island? Why did they cut his head off? Same freaking reason. But they don't,
he was popular.
Yeah, he was popular. He's too popular. You don't get it.
They really sell that in this thing. It's like, you really feel the love and the popularity for this person, by all these people.
Because gladiators were superstars, and that fight with Tigris Gaul, the tiger fight, I love that.
That's why
it's so epic, so epic. But I love Gladiator. I watch it at least once or twice a year.
And it's got like a lightheartedness to it. It's not just serious or over the top. Like when his friend takes his food and eats it and choking, he's just joking. Even the last line, even when is it who is the actor? But he buries Maximus is dead and he buries his
Jaimon Hounsou.
Okay, yeah, Jaimon Hounsou. He buries the thing and he says, "I'll see you, but not today."
Not yet.
Make a little jokes. It's great. I mean, it's lighthearted.
Yeah.
I have no idea what he's going to do with Gladiator 2. I just hope
think it's
he
going to be bad
tarnish
with everything that we've seen. You know what I mean? It's like, how can you
I'm
live up to...
afraid he's going to tarnish that.
Denzel?
Yeah, Denzel Washington, Pedro Pascal, Paul Mescal.
See, that's got me excited, though.
It's got a good cast, but what are they going to do? Is the story necessary? Like, is it just going to be a story set in ancient Rome and they're tying it to Gladiator for marketing? Yeah, probably.
That's what I assumed. Yeah.
So
it has nothing to do with Gladiator. The titular role is dead, so why would you call it Gladiator 2?
Exactly. So yeah, there it is.
Dang. I love it. Sad that there's no Blade Runner on Ed's list, but it's also sad that the Counselor was on Miguel's. So this is a wild one. This is a wild one.
I feel like I fared better there. So
yeah, you did.
I don't know what.
I never thought I would say that, but without Blade Runner, your list is cleaner. Yeah, your list is still cleaner. I don't think he's had Blade Runner either.
So what I want to do is go out and see Blade. I don't think he's seen it. Oh no, yeah,
Blade Runner was number
6
for him.
Yeah.
Does he? Right. Oh, I see. I went somewhere else.
See Blade Runner. I want to see Matchstick Men.
Yeah,
that one is fun.
Eluded me for so long.
It's got a good twist. It'll keep guessing.
And Stephen, I think you should watch The Duelist.
You know what? I think I'm definitely gonna watch The Duelist. I might watch The Last Duel because you guys are talking about it.
There you go.
I think you should. I think you should. I think you would like it.
Remember when I first watched it, I was like, I don't like this. And then as it goes on, I'm like, oh, I like this. So that might be an emotion you have as you watch this movie. Listen, you guys are rock stars or superstars. Stephen, thank you for coming. I know it's super late over there. It's midnight now, but we had to talk Napoleon. We had to do a Ridley Scott ranking. You know we're doing these. And we may revisit Napoleon when it hits the 4-hour cut. Who knows? But find out next week. I don't know what we're covering next week. But find out. Yeah, Saltburn. Thank you. We're gonna talk
let me know if I should see it.
You should see it.
We will let you know. Oh, he saw it. Yeah, he did see it. But
because I want to see it.
I know usually we do what we're into, but again, you guys are late. You have jobs. You gotta wake up and do them.
Ridley Scott took all the time.
Yes, thank you so much. Listen, it's been me, Luis Gonzalez. With me's been
Ed Bull
and
Stephen Escobar.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us, Stephen, and not Miguel.
No, of course. Thanks for having me anytime. Love it. Love being here. Great
and until next time, remember what we do in this life.
Echoes in eternity.
Ah!